Good morning, good evening.
Morning, guys. How you guys doing today? Good afternoon, good morning, mayong buntag, masanting awak, magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. Sa tanan.
Okay, so welcome to Philippine Antics. Same crap, different day, same crap, and welcome to Life in the Philippines. Today we are going to cover it's hot as hell. That's what we're going to cover. It's supposed to be like up to 104 degrees today, but anyways, we are going to cover a story where another American has been scammed, but this time we have footage to it. We know Sunshine Shoulders discussed this the other day, and we thought maybe we would just find an article, but we actually found the footage of it. It's another expat that has sent substantial money to a Filipina, and in the end, he's got her on her hands and knees begging, and he's recording it at the same time. So it kind of invokes some feelings in me about the entire situation. She's claiming, I think the old classic, my dad is sick, and that's what she told him, that he's a disabled guy. And I don't get the footage. We're still trying to figure this out. This is why we're late, because we're recording footage that we found, and there that isn't Cebuano. George does not speak Cebuano. He says he didn't understand most of what they said. And so, but for the most part, I think he actually somewhat entrapped her. Looks like he took the money there and brought the cops with him, is what was going on. And do you think this has anything to do with the elections? Do you think they're really putting Filipinos and expats, like they caught that guy the other day? They actually put the NBI and some people on in America, and they literally followed the guy around and then found out based on his DNA that he was wanted in the United States, not the other way. It could
Okay.
have been the other way around, but do you think it has anything to do with
Let's start with one language. I'm really good at understanding languages, even if I don't have full like understanding of the language. What I'm saying is the problem with the language. It's not so much the language, because most of the time I can pick up what they're saying. The problem is the American dude was speaking in English, it's very unintelligible. The audio was horrible, even in English. I was like, "What
Yeah.
the freak is he saying?"
Right? We still wanted to bring it to you. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
No,
they-
you heard him, and you can't even understand what he's saying. So much
okay.
less a different language. What I'm saying is the audio was horrible from the get go. Even if I did speak Cebuano, I probably could say I don't understand a word you say.
Well, that's not what you told me before we started.
I
I asked you, did you get
understand
the story while you're
that,
sitting
but what I'm
there
saying is
doing your
usually
thing? And your answer was, I don't
Heidi,
speak that
stop,
language.
stop. You're right. I don't, and I did say that.
But now you're
And I no. I never contested that. Not once did I say I did not speak that language, but I can usually figure out what they're saying. But here's the problem. Even in English, I couldn't understand what the American guy was
Well,
saying.
why didn't you say that earlier? That
Because
wasn't your
it's obvious
response.
even you can't understand what the American
Obvious
guy was
has
saying.
nothing to do with what you said. But that's okay. That's exactly why
Again,
there's two of
Heidi,
us.
you're arguing with somebody who never argued with you in the first place.
First off, that's not an argument.
It's an
That's me
argument.
calling you
It's
out.
an argument.
And
if,
so you
Heidi,
have
Heidi,
a problem with that.
No, I don't.
I'm
That's
not
the thing.
one.
You have a problem with me saying facts.
That's not.
I never said I didn't understand. I never said that. I did say I didn't. Well, I did say I didn't understand. Yes. But what I'm saying, everything I've said was
I'm
factual.
just asking. That's not. That's
and
not.
I'm just again verifying that everything they're talking a different language. However, that's not the issue. The issue isn't an audio issue from the original footage. Even English. If I can't understand it, you can't understand English.
There's no
in the
reason
footage
to be
Heidi,
10 coffee hyped about it.
I'm not, but you're the one, Heidi. I'm not the one arguing with you. You're the one arguing with me, and you don't see it.
You're saying I'm arguing with you, and then you have the people believe that, and then I get
Heidi,
blamed in the end
I don't
because
have to
I'm an
have the people
American white
believe me.
Karen, but
Heidi,
it
I
doesn't
don't.
matter because I
You don't.
know.
I don't have to have the people believe me. They can see it. I never argued with you. I
I'm not.
said.
There's no
I said yes.
arguments.
I don't. Oh, right. And that's why, again, I didn't say one contradictory thing to what you said, but you're contradicting me with what I'm saying, even though they're all factual. Does the original footage have bad audio? Yes. Even I can't understand
I
English.
didn't say any of that. I said you didn't mention that earlier. So where
I
is
didn't
that doing
have
that?
to because even you didn't understand the English.
Okay, you didn't have
Why
to. So
would
you're
I
now just
say,
answering it,
hey,
but I'm
you
just
know
asking. I'm
what,
not allowed to
Heidi?
ask.
Did you
I'm
notice
not allowed to
that you don't
ask.
understand the English in this audio? I didn't have to tell you that because it's obvious you can't.
Okay.
It's unintelligible. They're like, I'm like, what the freak are they saying?
Mm.
But anyway, second, well, okay, there are three things that you said, but now since I've been derailed, I can only go to the third one. Now, obviously, I missed the point there somewhere. And the third one, is this about elections? No. Why? Why can't I, without a doubt, say it nothing to do with elections? Because
Filipinos are saying all this stuff is.
no.
They're doing extra
I'm
rest,
really good
extra
with
press.
I'm really good with politics, even though I really don't like talking about it. But I can really follow most of it, whether it's in America or here. No, it has nothing to do with politics because why? Well, if it's political based, meaning as far as elections go, it's only because they're looking for points, but that's it.
That's
But that's normally has nothing to, I would say, if it's politically based, that would be it. But
chosen one.
other than that, I disagree only because why? The one that's coming out on top is an American.
I don't know. I think he kind of looked silly standing there having a girl beg at his feet and recording it. But I'm just curious because
That's
it
my
is.
point. It's the Filipino that's begging. Who's the voter here? Who can vote?
Why haven't they
The
done this more often?
Americans or the Filipinos? That's why I don't. If it is politically based, it's a popularity contest. That's it.
Hmm. Okay, so let me read the two articles that we have, and let's see. Let me bring in the footage. So I guess that would help too. Oh, that's right. We're gonna have to wait because if we bring it up now, so we can't do that. That should have been done before the live stream. We got busy this morning. All right. So the articles we'll just read directly here for you guys for those that don't know. But basically the amount is 1.5 million. Can you get me a guesstimate on that with the exchange? Please. Let's see. Call center agents on kneeling or bended knees is apologizing to an AFAM who said he was scammed out of 1.5 million and without apologies. That sure looked like apologies to me. She was arrested by the NBI in an entrapment. So that could be what all the money is. We have footage. Or maybe we should read this as we bring up part of that. Okay, you could have said that out loud.
Yeah, but you're talking. Why would I randomly interrupt?
Hmm. The woman's name is Jaya. Is it Gia? Jay?
I assume it's Jay.
Ramos Julio. Jay is silent again. Julio. 24 from Myasin.
Maasin.
City, Southern Leyte, but works as a call center agent. So she is working. The arrest was in an entrapment operation with the NBI in Cebu. at a coffee shop in Mandaue. I'm going to bring up the article or the footage, and we'll stop because the beginning is kind of. All
No,
right.
yeah, just real quick, the audio you're hearing is actually already enhanced.
It's enhanced and separated from
Yeah,
the heavy
so
traffic.
that's not the original. I've never heard it enhanced yet, but
Yeah. So, well, this seems to be just a side agent that leaked it. This is coming from a smaller newspaper. It's not even big agency. And as of like 2 hours ago, I couldn't even find this stuff. So, but it was an entrapment thing. So it looks like piles of money was brought to her. And it looks like they're calling it, I guess, charged with estafa on the 28th. The I guess his name is George. It says he's an American in Cebu. And the victim was assaulted by his lawyer. I don't remember. This is translated in the newspaper. Actually, it's put in English, but it's the way it's how they talk. Like they keep calling the woman a he. So you got to understand the he, she thing here. But I'm assuming it when they say assaulted, that probably means confronted when they use the word assaulted. So some words are used different, like, in the Spanish language.
well, the what do you call it? The he, she, her, him in Filipino, most of it is we use bisexual words, so therefore it kind of chooses one or the other side. And estafa, for those of you who are trying to figure out, that's another word for fraud.
So they became in a relationship online. So it was another online because of his brother who introduced them to foreigners. And many have been asked, let's see, many of them asked for money that at least the amount was supposed to be 2.4 million as a down payment for a condo. This is what me and George was talking about earlier. It's a 14 million peso condo. For me, that's really extensive because isn't what did you say that was? You have the amount. It's
Well, 83 or 84 million pesos.
So can you tell me what 14 million is then? So that's a lot of money for a condo here. That is a lot. So she asked for an exuberant amount for a condo. Like the place that we're in, if we go into a newly built subdivision here, we're not talking about like an oversized house, where there's some of the richer subdivisions on Clark or something that are selling places. But with the over active market where there's so many of them available, on average, like what we're living in, which is considered like a townhouse, or they have them separated on, like, say, Fiesta here in Mabalacat, or there's these other subdivisions. They range total for two bedroom, two bathrooms, anywhere from 2.5 million to 3 million, up to six if it's a nice one with the yard and everything. So that's at six. I can't imagine giving 14 million for a condo. It doesn't seem because, the place like they sell like here in other houses, 14 would buy you a really nice place, probably out in the province, probably with the swimming pool or something. So
Well, I'm not. Well, first off, it's in Cebu. I don't know a place in Cebu that would top BGC other than actually a condo. Maybe like a condo in Cebu City, right by the airport. That's the only thing I can think of that would be somewhat within that price range.
yeah, that's 260,000 US. Yes, you can buy a house with a pool and
Because
some of them
that's insanely
older.
expensive.
Hmm.
That is like
And
insane. Like you can live in BGC with that easy.
you can buy because
And
yeah, they have a bunch of those towered places for
correct.
one and two
The
bedroom for
only
that
place
cost.
I can think of is literally a condo right by the airport.
So
That's the only
so
place I
my
can think
guess
of.
is I was talking to George. I was like, either she really is scamming. I actually even threw in the possibility. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe the guy just gave her the money. Maybe, I heard Sunshine state something and someone another time. These guys act like fools when they're giving out this money
Hey, Calvin.
for simping channels or but like Calvin says, if you're giving it, it's like a give and take relationship and you knowingly give her money. Don't complain. Not saying Calvin, the different people in general. if you're giving the money out knowingly, you deserve to be taken in the end if you're just giving it out for the simping. We were discussing I was discussing the comparison of channels like the Filipina P and Mel Jean and how they started their channels, and all the females that during the pandemic they started these channels. Some do it in a style where it's totally automated and there's other people helping them with the channel. Some started further out in the province with simpler lives when they started these channels. And all these guys came flooding in during the pandemic. Don't blame them. But if you're willing to send her the money and she's asking for it, some guys were like, hey, she scammed me. And they went on about how they were scammed. And to me, what level was scamming? Did they exchange nudies? Was there online camera? What do they call that when people engage in whoop-dee and they take their clothes off and they actually do everything through the camera? Online SX. But you got my point. When is the line drawn? And did she? If I had to bet $1 million, I bet at some point she was nude in front of a camera.
Okay.
What man would send that kind of money?
No.
Because he's been sending her money.
See, that's the thing. That's the problem.
And she's not. I'm sorry, she's not that attractive.
Oh, she's playing with 20 peso coin. I guess
the cats.
No, it's okay because there's no way she can swallow that. Okay. Now, I get what Heidi's talking about, and I get what some of you are thinking, but bear in mind, again, fair is fair. And what I mean is, where's the line? The line is simple. The line is very simple, guys and girls. Okay? It doesn't matter if you're a guy looking at a girl, a Filipina, or a Filipina looking at a guy, or a guy looking at a Filipino, or a girl looking at a Filipina. Again, that's irrelevant. But what's relevant is the difference is if let's say for instance me, okay, I'm not much to look at first off, but what I'm saying, let's say me, let's say I'm a scammer and I'm scamming. Let's pick Karen only because it's the most common American name there is. So let's say I'm like virtually dating Karen online, and then I say, "Oh, Karen, I love you," yeah. And Karen sends me these like buy-in boxes, and then she sends me money.
Which, by the way, they did. By the way, in the past.
Okay, that's fine. That's obviously gifts. Let's say Karen starts sending me money, and I start doing these, provocative dances on video camera, and she sends me money. Okay, those are still gifts. Now, it turns into a estafa or fraud, as it were, or the NBI will come get me if I say, "Hey, Karen, you know what? I wanna live with you. I wanna start a life with you. I love you. Let's buy a condo. Give me 15 million pesos and I'll buy a condo here for us to live in." That's
but
the
what
line.
If she, here's where other things are added in. What if she's got some mental illness? What if she's just a wild young girl? Maybe she really believed that. Maybe she really believed she wanted that condo.
I know that, but that's when it becomes fraud, because the point is, again, well, let's play the video first, and that way.
All right, let me finish.
More context to it.
Okay, so yeah, they could see. Let me read the rest of the article so they get more. So in the end, she asked him or what she did is she asked for $2.4 million as a down payment. Let me bring this over so you can see that. I'm just reading the article. $2.4 million is a down payment to buy a condominium that is $14 million. The suspect gave her $2.4 million, but it was already an entrapment. So that must be when they showed the money being given off. The American was shocked by the real motive of his girlfriend, who gave him $300,000 in cash first and then asked him to buy jewelry and a laptop, but didn't mention the suppliers, the amount of again, it's the article, guys. I'm reading word for word. Amount for his family, which was 1.5 million. Suspect admitted their guilt, but still admitted that even though he had lost his money, it was for the family. The woman keeps saying it's for her family. especially her father, who is a person with disabilities, and her brother RJ has no real job in the household. Understand Filipinos live usually what 6, 7, 8 deep in a house. There's usually a couple people responsible. Sometimes it's down to just a daughter with a bunch of people, even with men in the house. I've seen families where it's just been like one woman. Like there was a woman that did an article during the pandemic when I first got here 4 years ago. She said she was actually upset because nobody else was doing any work and she was the sole person working and she was responsible for everybody. And she felt because she was the oldest daughter and everything, although the other kids had the ability, the older ones, they weren't working. Like they were just sitting around gaming all day or doing nothing all day. But she was responsible for putting one of them through school, and it was her duty. And that's what was actually going on. So she's clearly stating here that her brother is not working and her dad is sick. So honestly, I feel for her because I get what desperate feels like. Because when that electric bill came up and we had to dip into the savings to repay it again, I was serious about pushing George out on Walking Street, man. But I mean, I know you can't compare it, right? But I've been there. I've been homeless twice in the United States. I've had where I've had to switch jobs. Never claimed to be rich. Never claimed to be planned. I was just an everyday. Thank you. Um, person that lived paycheck to paycheck. So I know what desperate's been like when you're out there looking for jobs all day. Like when you used to have to put in an actual paper application and sit there and do interview after interview until you get a job. Or remember what back in the day when you could just go in and do an interview with the manager? Now everything's done online, but I get it. So more than likely she was in a desperate mood. And I told George, we just seen, and this is my opinion, not George's. I just seen another Filipina in a new relationship with a guy that was at least 3 times her age, at least 3 times her age. And I can't help after seeing this case to think that some of these girls are jumping into these relationships desperate. So you're adding desperate on top of desperate. So you're talking about mayo on top of peanut butter and the damn cheese just slid on out.
Well, now I have to add something about this one.
Mm.
First off, there's nothing wrong with having a relationship with a legal person of a younger age. Okay?
Consenting and
Right. A consenting younger but of legal age. There's something wrong with that. And again, I'm not discounting that. That's fine. However, here's the big however that a lot of people forget to think. Or I would hope you guys experience this. At the age of 21 of the legal consent. Okay? At the age of 21. Okay? Were you mature here? To be honest with you. Are you guys mature here at the age of 21? No. 22? No. 23? No. 24? It takes about, by the time you hit 30, that's when everything starts, you know what? Right? I mean, I get it. They may be legal, 18 years old. 21 is straight up legal. Everything's legal. But what I'm saying is they may be legal, but what makes you think, or these older gentlemen or older women think, that they can date somebody under 30 and they're going to be mature enough
the man he has to take
emotionally
some
and
responsibility.
intellectually mature. They have to be both, not just mature here. If they're not mature here, guess what? The relationship is doomed. Something bad's going to happen.
I'm just calling it out. The guy's desperate sometimes, okay, and he's taking on a 24-year-old woman that he knows has all those family members. She told him he was moving with the family, and at least she was working at a call center, but she's 24 years old. He could be close to at least twice or 3 times her age. I'm guessing at least twice her age. And they're at some level, I don't understand where it doesn't give her the right to do it. It's really shitty. Don't get me wrong. But I must stand on the side of the American that sat there and had her begging, and he's questioning her and he's recording her. That's where I was sickened.
Okay, well, again, we need to show you guys the footage. But the weird thing is that there is footage. I thought that was kind of weird and somewhat tasteless,
All
in
right,
my opinion.
so let's see. I'm going through it again. 24-year woman. This is a second article facing estafa charges, allegedly defrauding out of 1.5 million in cash items. George has accused the resident of Leyte that she duped him out of money for financial gain, and that's where I get sickened a little bit. It's my people this time. You know, I get it. I really get it, but okay, let's say that she was and the condo was too much. Again, I'm still curious about where the
Like
where the line was drawn. Because
well, the article it says is actually really clear. It says here that these do not include the other valuables George has personally bought for
Which
Wallow, like a laptop and jewelry. Those are not included because
Correct.
those are gifts, and
Okay,
that's where the
so
line is. There's a difference between
mhm.
gifts and hey,
Well, it's
babe, you know what? Let me get you this. Let me buy us a car. That
she
way we
could have
have a
just
car
got
to drive
greedy.
around.
Yes, she could have got greedy, and as she was being showered with gifts, which American women do to guys all the time, so it's just not a cultural thing. That at some point she did get extra greedy. But she's
No, she did. She did.
it's just where I feel that both parties, okay, both parties are, have some responsibility to take. And what if she really was a desperate, which has nothing to do with the crime? People are desperate usually when they do crime. Some are just nasty. But I still feel somewhere when I think about her, if any of it was true, and she seemed to be remorseful in her crying. But let's just say that the guy had to know as he was doing that. Let's say she asked him, he got the money. That's when this seems to have gotten all set up. It says here that George had personally bought her a laptop and jewelry. In the investigation, they learned that George identified only as RJ. Okay, so they're using two different names. George, let's see. RJ was introduced to George to his sister through online messaging. So basically, in a nutshell, it got right down to the condo. That's all they're repeating is the same thing. Brother was unemployed. My dad is sick. They finally met in person. So it almost seemed like they had not even met because it said they had met in person. So I'm wondering if that was their actual first meeting. So
what a meeting.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and play this.
Okay, remember, the audio is now enhanced, but I still haven't heard, we haven't heard the enhanced audio yet. So.
Yeah. This is them walking in the coffee shop to go give her the money and see if she's there to take
It's
it.
intentionally, they blurred it to hide the location of the coffee shop.
Right, so there's the pile of money. They jump right to it. He brought the money. It was entrapment, in my opinion. She was there to collect the money. That's her and him sitting next to each other. I just want to let you know that at this point, now that I think about it, she asked for the money. So he's been giving her money. He gave her the laptop. Okay. And this is just for the information we had found online. This is a group discussion, guys. So he brought the money to her. So he's been giving her items. And then she's like, I want to get a condo. But here's the thing that we don't know. Maybe he actually thought at some point that he was moving in, or she thought she would see about him moving in. And maybe she thought she could con him into it or talk him into moving in. We don't know what the rest of the conversations were on both sides. I mean, think about that one. So at what point did he say, or another expat whisper in his ear and say, dude, she's trying to rip you off. See if she'll do this, and that. And then he got with the NBI. Or did she? we don't all have the facts. There's always three sides to a story. So here they are in a coffee shop. He brought the money and the NBI, and whammo, he's there to have her arrested. I'm wondering why they don't do this more often, why they don't do more stings like this. But
with your team building, you was to deal with more. Okay. They were following something already.
Sa NBI ni, nagkatabi ka sa preparation.
So now you have to be responsible for your actions.
Kaya mag-gusto sa kaso bakit sila.
You don't have to have me.
Pagkano mo siya sa NBI Mandaue, ha?
can't really understand. We're more seeing it's something.
Well, even the English I can't understand. Still
No,
can't understand.
he's but I do notice she's got her nails did. At least she's got a job. I mean, I gotta give it to her. She works in a call center.
Ako liyo na siya.
Real quick. Somebody said the female brain stops developing at 18. She's done developing at 18. Isn't it a lot older than that? I mean, I get she may be mature at some point.
Varies depending on the
MYK
study.
used to come on and
It varies
talk.
depending on the study that you read.
I don't know if I would trust a lot of 18-year-olds in this day and age. At
Well,
least
like,
back
like
in the
I said,
day.
it varies, and there's no true.
I thought they were
set
saying
point.
21 to 25.
The
is a
number
real
I
good
gave
set.
earlier is from experience, from what I've noticed from friends and myself.
Gotcha. Okay. And
Yeah.
which is what age? I missed that.
No, that's about right. About 25 to 30.
That's for the
women
male, he's
included.
saying. Okay.
Women included.
Yeah, I would say at that point, that was like me. I just want to say really quick that I went through almost a 10-year marriage with my first marriage, which was a military guy. And about the 10th year, I was about 10 years in, and that's just about the time that I hit that age. So I was about 28 when 27, 28 when I started the divorce. And it just seems like I had not really myself or him, although he was a couple years older than me. It just seemed like I went through all these changes and we were two different people in the end. So, you know, but anyways, I just. Yeah, see, I'm just still curious. Maybe she really intended to buy a place. That's how I'm trying to figure how they're going to charge her. That's
Husband.
did they just say husband?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Yeah, you're hearing a lot of silence because the traffic you're not going to hear.
The audio is already enhanced, since you guys can
It
hear.
removes.
Even with the audio enhanced, it's still very unintelligible.
It takes out all the other background noises, so we could hear voices. Okay, I'm not sure this is switching over. Hold on. I guess I'm trying to bring in the other clip. There you go.
Oh, this one's not enhanced.
All this is them bringing her in. Isn't this inside of an MBI or something? Because that's like, by the way, that's waiting areas when you go in to sometimes do your driver's license or taxes or government offices here. A lot of plastic chairs. Sometimes it looks like a mall, sometimes it's in a mall. Or it looks like the inside of an old elementary school. Here, there she is. I thought I enhanced it. Weird.
No, it's not enhanced, but that's it.
So then I must have cut the section out. I had the section where they were, so we totally see. So there it is. I was trying to rush this morning to edit this, and what can I say? So
Yeah.
I can't even begin to tell you how frustrating that is, because the clips were there, but I didn't know we were 6 minutes over, and George had other plans this morning. So I was trying to get it done. So in the interim of trying to rush, it got clipped out. So basically, I also had photos, didn't have time to put that together. But if you go through Facebook and look for the articles, we'll put a link in here later. There is begging. So sorry, I can pull up the other footage, but I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Well,
So
the
we
real
talked about it,
question
now we don't
again,
have
like
it.
the funny part is, and I say funny, and again, I'm not taking sides here. I'm not. And because I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't told Heidi. I really think she meant to scam him.
How?
Right.
That's, I have to stand on the side of the woman. I
I
mean,
get it. I get it. Again, like I said, I really think she meant to scam him. But however, the reason why he brought the money is because it's kind of weird. Meaning, usually when you do a sting operation and you bring in money like that, and they brought not just like, a couple hundred or a couple thousand, they brought in wads and wads of
yeah,
cash. Okay?
86,000, give or take.
Normally is
I mean, shouldn't they have waited to see what she was going to do with the money?
correct. Thank you. That was the point I was getting at. Again, regardless of what side you're on, whether you're on his side or her side, normally you do wait for what she's gonna do if she's gonna
That's what.
correct.
And they
Start
called
stuffing
it
the money in their
entrapment. The
purse.
word was clear.
Correct.
Entrapment.
And
They said it was an entrapment.
That's my
their own
weird
wording.
thing about this video, which again, they're the
Let me
ones
see if I
provided the
can.
video.
I might be able to.
Is they brought the money and yet they didn't wait for her what she was gonna do with the money.
I'm not going to mess with it. There's no way to edit
Yeah.
during that.
So I thought that was odd.
And that's why I say he's guilty, she's guilty. But are we sure that she's guilty? I know there's been a lot of deals where these guys, okay, let me tell you what guilty is. We discussed that guy in Cebu. Remember, they had the online relationship. He came here, he married her, he allowed all 13 members of the family to move in. Remember? And then at some point, he found out that a bunch of the kids in the house were hers. And I think later they found out she was married too. So not only did she fraud him out of all the money that had been sent, and she was married. So if all of that was known, then put the cuffs on the person. That the person was married, the kids in the house were hers. This is another one of those Cebu ones. It's one that we had covered back. She was married too.
I get
so
that,
all the money that was sent, then when he found all this out and he tried to leave, they took all the shit from him. They locked the house up. They took his stuff. He left. He didn't have his passport. They kept all the shit and his motorcycle.
See, that's different.
That's what I mean. Now there's a clear case.
Okay,
there.
what Heidi is talking about is a different case, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And
there's
they actually, unlike these other gentlemen, oh, they have me trapped here. Oh, no, that guy was never trapped. But this other guy
George,
that Heidi was talking about,
George trapped me.
they did have him trapped. They did lock him up. Not lock him up, but kind of like did a house arrest on him. That kind of deal.
There was two of them. There was a guy in a compound.
The balcony.
He jumped off the balcony to get off, but there was another one in another area that he did. He actually did. They locked him in the family compound. It was a whole different one in a different city.
That's a completely different story. Yeah. But what we're saying is, in this situation, the video, oddly enough, they didn't wait to see what she did. And also be aware that the full story, as Heidi's saying, is not there. Although, do I believe she's guilty? Okay, my belief, in my opinion,
she was pushing her luck.
She is guilty. However, okay, again, we don't know the full story.
Yeah, because Lou says here, but yet they're making an example of Vitelli, but they're make an example of this low life Filipina. See, that's where I have to
All right.
disagree, because it's just another American expat saying he got scammed. But where's the line towed, or how much was agreed upon? He gave her laptop and jewelry. It sounded like a basic, sound like he was along for the ride, and she's probably using that stuff. But where does it go further that she might have really intended to buy a place, or she was, who knows? But if it's real, then yes, they should prosecute her to the fullest with all the information.
Okay. So again, like I said, the thing is about this case, they didn't wait to see what she was going to do with the money. And also, we didn't hear the full story. And what I was getting at is, again,
I say they lock them both up in the same cell.
okay. So as I was saying, and some of you will agree with me, I said some, not all. How many of you think that this guy who had her locked up is the one who came up with the idea in the first place?
Ooh, that's a possibility.
Hey, babe, here's some money. Let me send it to you. Could you please find me a place?
That has happened
And then the
too.
girl was like, crap, what am I going to do? And doesn't know what to do.
The guy in Cebu did. He sent her the money, several thousand US dollars, to set up a place in Cebu. And then that's when he got there and found out all the family was to move in and everything else. And they have the Australian guy bought the condo, the one that never got his kids back. Find out in the end he wasn't married, no nothing. Remember, she was renting out the place, then she sold it from underneath them. And so did they ever arrest her? The answer is no.
Now,
So I'm wondering why now.
in our wording, may pasubuya, as they say, it means she fell in deep. What we're saying is she may not have planned this at all.
That's what I'm wondering.
She may not have planned any of this, but it's
She got
possible.
greedy
And I'm gonna be honest, that a lot of guys do this without even knowing it. And again, I'm not defending her because I really think she did do it. It's very possible that the guy says, "Hey, babe, here, I'm gonna send you some money. Go find us a place. Here you go." So, but of course,
and when does it
it's
like
still
turn into?
yeah, but it's still up to her to say, "Hey, I'm not gonna do that," or "I can't do that,"
Yeah,
or
how are
"I'm
they
not comfortable doing this without you."
How are they going to prove their case now
Right.
that they just handed her money?
Now, some of you
They
will-
walked in with the money and him at the same time. So just because she was sitting
and
there,
again, I'm highly against that because you usually have to wait what she's gonna do with the money. But
it is the Philippines, so
yeah, all they did was show the money, and then that's it. Boom, it's over. It's like, wait, what? But anyway,
it was like me and George this morning. It was just like that.
now some of you will be like, "Hey, George, why are you so quick to judge to say that she did do it, that she did intentionally do it?" You know why? And I'm gonna be honest with you. I hate to say, I really hate saying
Because she's
this.
brown. They both were brown. Because she's Filipina.
Wow, that's
Because she had half the clothes on.
wow. Anyway. Forgive Heidi. There's some she
I'm in
grew
raw.
up with a sign, warning slow children, that kind of deal. But anyway,
Not really. I rode the short bus, and I have ADHD, so I'm just gonna say what I got to say.
okay. So as I was saying, so what I'm getting at is the reason why I think she did do it, and this part I say I'd hate to say this, is because the excuse. The reason or the excuse that the female always gives, or guy gives the foreigner why they did it is, why did she do it, Heidi? What did she say?
I'm desperate, and my daddy's been all over me, and my brother's been all over me, and I didn't want to take on a second job, and I didn't feel
That's not what she said.
Oh.
What did she say, Heidi?
I forgot already. Unmedicated in the Philippines.
Okay, she said that, "I'm sorry, please forgive me.
Oh, she did, yeah.
I took it because my dad was sick." I hate that.
Because
I
that's the
hate
number one
that.
excuse.
I hate that because that's the number one excuse Filipinos give. My mom is sick. My dad is sick. Oh my God, what is wrong with you people? The moment a Filipino gives you that, "Oh, my mom is sick.
So
My
you're
dad
right.
is sick." Ooh, That's a lie.
I just want to let you know that George has had no coffee today.
No, it's the most annoying thing.
So that's probably her guilt factor
Because
right now.
it
is the number.
hits your heartstrings and it hurts to say no. And guess what? That's what they use. And it's like, ooh, what's wrong with you? You know. No, it's really annoying because it's
You're right. She did say that her dad
yes,
was disabled.
that's why I
and
was like, the moment she said that,
my
I'm like,
brother has no job and money.
she's guilty. She's
Oh,
guilty.
snap, George.
Number one excuse. Number one freaking excuse a Filipino will give you is my mom is sick, my dad is sick. Oh my god! Just shush. You already lost your case. I already know this is a scam.
I know one other one that triggers you. How about when a Filipino says, when you ask them how much the ride is or how much the item is or how much the service is, and they say whatever you like.
Well, it's they say bahala na kayo. It's up to you.
Just like I hate
How
when they
much?
say
How much is the ride? Well, that applies a lot. How much is this bread? It's up to you. How much would it cost for the ride? It's up to you. I'm like,
I know.
so
we
now,
get the-
now what I do is, and guys, you guys can use this. Aren't you the driver? You're the one supposed to give me a price.
we
Because
George is drinking
and
orange
if they say
juice.
no, if they say no, it's up to you. Then give them lowball them big time. Like, okay, I'll give you 20 pesos. How about that?
Bargain from there.
No, well, that's not a bargain. But point being is, then they realize, oh crap, he's right. If I tell him give him a price, he's gonna pay me 20 pesos or something. I
Somebody
can do
asked about your coffee, but I got George some ass cookies or dumbass cookies. Would you like a dumbass cookie?
Yeah, there it is.
Here you go.
Luke says, magkano po, sir? Up to you. Oh my god,
I got
hate
George
that.
dumbass cookies. Here,
Yeah.
try one of those.
No, they're actually really
Because
good.
George deserves a
No, these
a
are
Scooby
really
snack.
good. These
A
are
real
actually really
well,
good.
it's Scooby snack. And by the way, happy Labor Day to everybody. The only somebody laboring around here is
Hey,
George.
you gave me a broken cookie.
Oh, would you like to complain about that?
You gave me a broken cookie. I have a surprise for you.
We should have called you Boba
No, really,
Boy
I do have a surprise for Heidi.
because you're brown and bubbly.
Look, bub. Look, bub. I got you. A dozen what?
Are you serious right now? Okay, so here's the deal. It is Labor Day, and I guess some of the places are opening up late because a lot of the companies. And I was going to order donuts for today's live, right? And he went out this morning, and I was like, okay, I didn't cook nothing or do nothing. I've just been going around taking care of the cats.
These are 8 peso pan de cocos.
Wait.
Look how huge they are.
You could have told me that before
And
I
then-
ordered the pork chop meals. I guess you got
And
your
look how
lunch.
full they are of coconut goodness.
Like your brain.
They're really full. Oh, this is a baker's dozen. This is mine. These are a dozen. These are yours. These are a dozen.
So you
This
were
is
going to let
13.
me order the donuts that got canceled on us?
Oh, and then I got you a surprise. Bub.
Are you serious, George?
Bub. You don't know what these are.
I do know what those
What
are.
are they?
Let me see. Them look like
What are these?
berries and
What are they?
boysenberries. Blackberries?
All around the mulberry bush. No.
They're probably poison.
Hey, I picked those myself. What are you talking about? They're mulberries.
Why are they furry?
Because they're mulberries.
Mulberries have fur?
Yes.
Then that's not, I'm used to
They're mulberries.
blackberries. In Ohio, we had gigantic blackberries and strawberries on
They're
the
mulberries,
fields.
Babe. Here.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Eat them. They're good. They're really good. I already ate 2 of them.
I can't.
Why?
You sure that's what that is?
Babe, yes.
Where did you get them at?
Where do you think? Right where
Off
I
of a
got the
mo-
wax apples from. Which I'm out of wax apples.
From your girlfriend's house?
Apparently, wax apples only grow like for a couple of weeks, and that's it.
I'm still trying to figure why you let me buy the stuff and the donuts got canceled on us
Go
this
eat
morning.
the mulberry.
Babe, it's not sweet. These aren't grown. You keep picking fruit that isn't ripe yet. Oh my God, babe. Are you sure?
Well, okay.
It's probably not ripe
It's
yet.
good enough. It's not 100% ripe, but they're good enough.
That's what he said to me when we got married. Yeah, babe, they're still.
Okay. See, here's the thing. If they're ripe, do you think I would be able to pick them? No, because they'd be gone.
There is a way to partially force them off.
What I'm saying is, there's no mulberries to pick if they're ripe,
Mm.
because other people would have picked them already.
Not if they were peacoat.
What? That doesn't even make any sense.
Somebody was protecting them with a shotgun.
Is shotgun wedding.
Correct, same thing. If somebody was protecting them like
Well,
a shotgun
anyway, if you don't
wedding.
want them, I'll eat them.
Babe, they're.
Okay, I'll eat them then.
You eat them.
No, they're good. I don't know what you're complaining about.
I'm complaining that I actually physically purchased food today when you had all of these. If I'd have known you had breakfast, I wouldn't have bought you your pork chops. That was just a con.
Okay,
I'm calling the MBI.
I didn't ask for steak.
You didn't get steak, you got pork chop.
Oh, okay. I didn't ask for pork chop.
Maybe she didn't ask for the house.
That's my point.
Maybe she didn't ask.
However, okay. First off, those are apples and oranges. I mean, a freaking steak lunch is not this, or pork chop lunch is not the same as for
Maybe
a
that's
freaking
how-
condo.
Maybe that's how it started.
Yes, that's how it starts.
Let me show you a little skin.
Usually, the guy just decides to throw money at the girl to impress her
Some
and
ask.
say, "Hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that?"
Now, I was in a relationship before George. The guy didn't spend any money at all. I was about ready to slap him. And then he already primed me, which is fine. Men do not have to spend money. But in this day and age, with the new generation, millennials and all that, they tend to split it. There are, like, where guys insist on being the men in certain countries and paying for things. George did that. But I was with a guy for 3 years, and he didn't pay for nothing.
No, rich people, cover your ears because you don't want to hear this. Rich people.
I mean, I brought my own alcohol to the house, for Christ's sake.
Are not known to be good.
And I just got used to it.
Period. The poorer the people are, the more welcoming and the more giving they are. They will welcome you to their homes and everything. And I'm not making this up. This is not a culture thing. This is it works worldwide. It's universal. And the reason being is the theory is, again,
For the most part,
this is a theory. The theory is because the poorer the person is, the more empathic they are to you. They have empathy. They understand that how hard life is, and therefore they're more accommodating to other people. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, no, I get it. I was."
So how come you're empathetic with everybody else but not with me? Because I wore you down?
Because you're rich. So anyway.
No, it's
I'm joking.
the guy lived 6 months in Canada and 6 months in the United States. And the alcohol in his house, when I met him, he never replaced it or did anything. Reason being is he just didn't. And the alcohol, I found out, we were there for 2 years and it never changed. He was a beer drinker. And so I asked once about...
beer is alcohol?
Yeah, I guess.
You call that alcohol?
Whole point is the alcohol was about 5 years old. He said it was from when his wife died. And it literally was still there, and it tasted horrible. It tasted like mothballs. So I'm one of those people that I'll kind of hint.
What do you mean tasted like mothballs? So alcohol or his wife?
Him and the alcohol. And beer.
No, so there's people out there that are really sick Fs. Heidi's one of them.
You didn't want to hear that, did you?
Man.
Anyways, not
If
really.
this was the 80s, Heidi would be canceled.
I'm not ready. Cancel. What are you talking about? Just appearing in the Philippines as a vlogger
Freddy the Frog
or in
would
this
kick your
genre
butt.
is canceled.
Remember Freddy? Nice, really friendly Freddy.
Hey, Sarah.
It's the
Hey, Ted.
new school review.
I have no idea.
Yeah, he's gonna kick your butt.
All right, let's go through and talk to the people and put the 2 cents in. So I'm kind of on the fence. I I can see the wrong and the right about it, about the situation, but I I don't know how they're going to prove she wasn't going to, and how even the attorneys or how they're going to stick it unless they prove that she
Okay,
scammed
well,
him
first
and she was
off,
married. Now, if she's
if
married and got a family in the house, they may find that
if
was
she made an attempt, aka if she really did go through realtors, but here's the problem with that. For her doing an attempt, she has to have some.
well, the photo on the front of the thumbnail is showing the begging,
No,
but
no,
there
no.
is
I got
videos
you. But
available.
what I'm saying is again that she has to show that she made an effort. Meaning there's some paperwork filled out, there's some stuff done, Um, but for you to do that, first off, that's kind of rare. It's rare. It's rare that people record themselves or have some paperwork showing that they did make an attempt. It's one thing having something done. It's another making an attempt. Most attempts are never recorded on paper or video or otherwise. So
I don't
odds
know.
are no, she won't have that proof. That's what I was getting at. But if she did make an attempt, there's a good chance she could get off the case. Meaning, hey, she did make an attempt. She just never followed. She never just successfully do it, but she did try. And here you guys, you jumped her before she's even done. That kind of deal. But anyway, hey Cindy G, how are you doing? Finally, the police are cracking down on these scammers. And again, I do believe she's a scammer only because of what she said as an excuse.
She did say it. She said
Yes.
that.
Smile and be happy. Thumbs up. Hey, smile and be happy. MB, hello, Philippine Scott. Hey, MB, how you doing? Hey, Scott, how you doing? Hello, everyone. Scott and Isis World.
Hey, I think maybe a new song coming. He tasted like mothballs and champagne.
Do you know what mothballs taste like? Naphthalene.
Yes, I do. I do now.
Naphthalene tastes kind of nasty, but anyway.
Maybe that's what a Canadian tastes like.
I
don't know. I'll wait for regular guy to come back in town and find out.
Extra tariffs.
Hey.
Tariffs, eh?
Hey.
Tito George's Travels. Curious to know who gave the money to. Hello from it's some African American George guy from the United States of America.
Yeah.
Aaron Doggy Fool, what's up, people?
What's up?
Hey, Aaron Doggy Fool. Hey, Ted, how you doing? Hello, beautiful people. Hit that like button.
Hey.
Harry Walsh. Hey, Hattie, George, Ted, Scott, Sarah, and all from Deer Park, New York. Slick Rick.
You know what? I had to get you one of these wigs so we both have matching gray wigs. Get you like that gray afro or something so you have your afro.
Oh, yeah. Slick Rick says, good morning, George and Heidi from beautiful city of
Harry. Hi,
San Francisco.
What is going on? Tony!
Hey, Tony. What's up, everyone? Hey, Tony. Look, why do these guys keep giving money like an ATM? Shake my head, right?
And here's the thing. There's so many channels warning them, and I get nobody really takes our advice, the next person's advice. They watch each channel for a little sneaky peeky at their half-naked women or their women acting crazy or them saying stupid shit or hoping when they get here they can hook up with them to vlog. You realize half the guys hook up with Paul thinking that's how they're going to get their start, And so my point is you would have thought they would have learned this shit from somehow, some way. And a lot of them have been here before. They know that scams happen. But you know what? These scams happen everywhere in the world, different ways, different things. And everybody's like, oh, I would never get scammed. I'm never going to get scammed.
Yeah,
and then
it'll
you
never
walk
happen
right
to them.
into it. Yeah.
Never happen
so
to them.
The closest thing that I had, and I know that it's coming back around, is there's been a lot more extortion of they're hacking people's accounts of young kids and they're becoming suicidal over it. Their kids are exposing their photos, nude photos, and themselves on cameras because they're lonely. Young kids, like teenagers and young adults and everything. And then they're trying to bribe them and stuff. And I had something that happened similar. I've said this before, that a long time ago after my first marriage, and I was on the internet, thought it was an online dating thing, and it was. And then individually, after talking to the guy, and the guy was from Germany, I told you this before, it was a guy claimed he was in Germany. He tried to claim that he was going to send all my photos off to somebody because we were on video camera. And no, I did not expose myself, but I wasn't exactly covered up either. Okay, I probably did. I was probably drinking my vodka, but my whole point is in
She
privacy
didn't.
they
It
were
was
going
Mad
to
Dog
release
2020. She
the
was
and I
drinking.
called his bluff. I said, "Go ahead. My family doesn't care." And that was the end of it. So you either got to call it or not, but these young kids are really I didn't show a body part. Might have been a low top cut, outfit that I was wearing back in the day, but it wasn't where I showed my hoo ha. These guys and women are showing body parts thinking they're really hooked up with somebody. And you got to see all the red flags. And then they try to use it now. And that scam's coming back around. It's been around, but it's coming back again. They just relisted it again in the newspaper and they said that they're really trying to, it's cyber jacking or something, and they're doing different stuff or they're breaking into the computer.
Cyberjacking.
It's better than what you do with the AI models.
They're cyberjacking.
You got my point, Jack.
And
Jack
and
Smith.
Heidi's lying. She doesn't drink vodka. She drinks Cisco.
I drink Canadian mothball men. Oh, Joe, hey.
She drinks Boone's Farm naphthalene flavor.
You nasty.
Boone's Farm. I'm nasty. I'm not the one who drinks Boone's Farm.
There is nothing wrong with Cisco, Boone's
Oh,
Farm,
sorry.
Mad Dog.
Bartles and James naphthalene
Yeah,
flavor.
don't make fun of Bartle and James. You guys will never know. You just never know. What's wrong?
Iron Doggy Fool. Here's the real problem. They think with their peckers. Correct. Pecker
Mhm.
brains, as they say. Thinking with the wrong brain. Thinking with the wrong head. Correct. Hey, Luke.
Oh, look,
Yes.
look, George.
Aww. Yeah, and Slick Rick says, leading with their wallets. Yes, thank you. He has to take responsibility too, because normally, without, I mean, he's probably led her with his wallet, and it doesn't take a genius to figure that one out.
I'm really upset because I thought we had that footage. I must have clipped it out.
Earn
There
Doggy,
is footage that shows it.
yeah, Earn Doggy Fool says, George, eat a donut, bro.
I'll find the footage and release it later. Like I'll make a short out of it and just put it on the channel is what I'll do. And say this is what happened. So I'll release it as a short. Just look for it later, guys. I apologize. George was sleeping on the job, and I didn't even know that he had the donuts and crap. George is working on cruising on a bruising later. You better call the cops now, because when for Christ's sake, are you serious? I'm gonna call up the NBA and say I just got conned out of pork chops.
Just so you guys know, another proof that AI is lying is, for example, today is a holiday. A lot of places are closed.
And then they said it wasn't.
And according to AI, and I'm not joking, and this is
Hi,
Google
Jen.
AI, by the way.
A
According to
chosen
Google
one. What is going
AI,
on?
that there is no holiday in the Philippines today. And ironically, on top of it, it says today it's Labor Day. It's a holiday in the Philippines. It's actually literally on the same page when I Googled what holiday is it today. No, really. This is Google itself. Point being, don't believe everything you see online. Anyway.
I think people are. I was also discussing that with you. As people are still going to fall for everything. It's like stuff can be right in front of people's faces these days on social media, and then they're convinced by. There's so many different outlets putting out news and everything else. The next one will just cover up the last story, and people like, oh, okay, it didn't happen. So I got a hold of Ted and asked him about how many containers in Los Angeles, how many, was it half full, where it was, and all this, because I'd seen some TikToks and other things that showed they were all empty, and it's not true. They must have AI'd the photos, or you'll get one person and the next person, the story can change 20 times over now. And if you go looking things up, it changes so rapidly, and there's so many different people.
People tend to recycle footage, like for example, during the C19 era, and then repost those videos and show, oh, look at what's going on today.
Right. So
no, really, that's what people do.
I just think, like you said,
for
people,
views. For views, they do it for views.
Right, but it's easier. You said about a lie versus the truth? It is. It's easier for people to swallow, and some people just swallow in different directions. So And I sometimes think people swallow in different directions just to make the other person mad, or they're misled, or swallow spit, bitches.
That's what I say. Kate Ellis. Hello.
Hey,
Chosen one slides into a room like a wrestler into the ring. There
what
you
is
go.
going on, chosen one? I hope you're okay. Been thinking about you.
Slickwork says, right, brother. It's to grow our money tree with a little sun. There you go. Jen. Hey, everyone. Hey, Jen. Earn Doggy Fool says, vote for Pedro.
Vote
Luke
for
says scammed or gave
Pedro.
willingly. Correct. I think it's both. In all fairness, it's both. Spawn Be Happy says 1.5 million pesos.
About 89,000. But I know there are a few things and points we wanted to talk about. 14 million is a lot for a condo, so that made me feel it was a scamming situation. But the other part of me started thinking, I know these bitches give up that money like easy. If somebody can give up $500, $200 in live streams simply just based on a little bit of information, and they're giving constant money and they see other guys giving money for nonsense, then I'm like, yeah, both parties have to take some sort of responsibility that people lose their minds like that. So it's just
Now
it's a
about
sight.
Vitali. Luke says I bet Vitali was set free with money.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
yeah,
no.
he's cooked.
No, he's not. The reason
President.
being correct. The president got involved. He's done.
When it gets to that
He
top,
is done.
there could be top guys in the Philippines that get involved, and I know in the politics and police stations there's nepotism and cousins of cousins. Don't piss off a cousin because the other one will call another station and you'll get arrested, or there are things that go on in other countries. It happens in the US, but in small towns.
Yeah, but once the president got
Once
involved, he's cooked.
he's cooked. Yeah, there's
He's
no
cooked. There's no
cutting under guys and
do
getting
not
out
pass
of
go.
it.
Yeah.
And now, I
No
mean,
jail out of free card. No, he's done. There is no money that will set him free. Yeah. As Ted says, now this will probably happen. Vitaly will be traded for a political prisoner. Correct. In all probability, that's what he'll be used for. Yes. But no, he's done. He's done.
And that's even maybe there are others. Did he have an American passport? In that what is the deal on him? He's really got a Russian passport and living in Russia, or his mother was American?
No, he's got an
kinds of shit.
American passport. He is classified as an American, not as a Russian.
Okay, so it's possible, but there are other people here
If
to trade off.
yeah, exactly. If the president wasn't involved, it's one thing, but unfortunately, the Philippine president got involved. It's over. Because when he gets set free, and the president hears that he got set free, he's gonna ask why, and they're gonna have to answer to him.
The only other thing that's more toast, like literal toast, will be me on our birthdays outside in that plastic swimming pool with baby oil on next to that hot grill. And when that plastic swimming pool hits that too close to the grill and it goes pop, that's the only other thing.
Yeah.
That's toast.
Earn Doggy Fool says a salt and pepper.
There it is. Salt and pepper.
Now,
Dun,
Luke
dun, dun,
Luke is
dun,
saying this as a response to
the salt and pepper.
the scam who gets scammed. According to Luke, this stuff only happens to white people.
Yeah, no, it was a black guy.
Well, yeah, that's what the guy is thinking. He's saying that's what the guy was thinking. He's thinking it only happens to white people.
Yeah.
So, but it happened to him. Yes, correct.
For the most part, I don't think Filipinos really see money. It is a wallet thing. I really do think, and I even think the age goes out the window. I think they're happy when they score a younger one, and it has happened more and more. Me and George have both agreed, based on social media and being out and about, the young guys since the country reopened a few years ago. It seems to be there's a much younger crowd. You'll hear other channels that are up there, numbers that have been talking that it's no longer just an old man's world to come with their pensions as it was 10 years ago. Now people are making their money on social media. They're making their jobs online, and all this stuff is going on. That there's more of a younger crowd here now. But anyways, there was something else. Oh, the new visa that's coming out, the Nomad visa. There was just an article, and I didn't get all the way through it. A lot going on. They're claiming it's going to be a loophole for Pogo. I don't know how. You realize that each person has to have insurance. They have to prove that they're making 20, or let's say 24,000 US a year. What pogo worker makes $2,000 usually a month?
Pogo still exists.
It's not supposed to, but they're thinking that that's how they're going to get back in the country with pogo jobs or something, to still work it online or something. And I'm like, I doubt they go through all those qualifications to get them in, but who knows? I was sitting there thinking several things when they were saying that, but isn't she weird?
Smile Behalf says, when you have a dingbat sending money, go for the mansion. There you go. Luke says, online salsal is what's called. It's online love.
Yeah, I mean, who's to say? But I bet there was some ding dong photos. I bet there was. I bet he sent his, and I bet she sent hers, and that's just where it was.
No, I'm sure.
And I said ding a ling a ling, and she said woo 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 woo, and it's like, there's just something going on.
Luke says a foreigner can buy a condo all by himself. He doesn't need it. No, that's correct. You can get a condo by yourself. You just can't buy a land. Now,
a lot of the guys don't even want to deal with the basics. Like even the simplest task here in the Philippines takes effort, in my opinion. What's the first thing I complained about in the Philippines? Is like, why is everything so manual? Why does everything take so long? Why is everything? I was just used to getting into my SUV, nice and air conditioned, stoplights, where I could get through traffic, and you go out. Here, even the traffic is a fight. The paperwork is a fight. Still buying a condo still takes effort, and it's hot as hell. It's going to be 105 degrees today. It's going to be hot, so I ain't going to want to be out there. I send George out to buy it, so it's just where it is,
Yeah. Yeah, and also be aware too. I mean, again, when it said a foreigner can buy a condo by himself, he doesn't need a Pinay. Be aware too that a lot of Philippine Phil-Am couples, be aware that they do send money to set the living conditions up for the American. That's a common thing, and a lot of times it does work out. That the woman does buy the car and does buy the property, and everything works out perfectly. It does happen a lot more than it. I mean, of course, you're gonna hear about the ones that are crying that they got scammed, yes, but it does happen a lot successfully. So be aware of that too. Ted says if she's leading down a false path of marriage, is the problem. That's fraud to begin. No, that's
That
also
might
in
be
the
what we
U.S.
don't know.
too. Be aware that that also applies in the U.S. There's a lot of times where the sugar mama or sugar daddy, whatever, it's still fraud. Correct.
We'll probably find out more as always. It's been 2 days since the article has come out. That video appears to be recent, like today, I think, literally. And then we've seen Sunshine cover it. Excuse me. So I'm sure more will come out in time. But we have part of what appears to be the story, but it could be she was married. There has to be something. I mean, I wouldn't say that I don't think they would have just went and done it based on him saying, hey, I believe I'm being ripped off. She asked for money. I'll take it to her. She's asking me to bring it. Oh, well, she's scamming. We're going to have her take her down. I'm sure there had to be more that they're not putting in the
No,
paper
I'm sure
for
there's
court purposes. You can't release it all.
he did probably send save the documents that he was sending money and save messages that it was for an actual business
and
purpose.
then, and she faked those or something. But
Correct.
it's hard saying.
So
There's
I'm
gotta
sure
be
there was
more.
something, yes.
A lot of times when you guys see stuff in the newspaper or online through the news, most of that can't even be released for court purposes. You can't release entire cases. It could destroy the cases. So, there's limits to it. So
Yeah. Earn Doggyful says it's called Sex Flicks. Luke says, Heidi, I was just telling my wife the other day how hard it was applying for jobs 20 years ago. We didn't have the internet. We had to go all over town to apply. The internet changed everything. No, back then, if you didn't get the job then, it's a good chance you didn't get the job at all.
Right. So me and George, when we used to go out in the beginning, we'd go out to eat when we first met. We used to talk about that stuff, the good old days and stuff. And every job I had, including Home Shopping Network, the television studio, I went in, you apply manually. They had computers at the HR building in St. Petersburg, Florida at the front. They had several campuses, but that was the biggest one where the television studio was. They had warehouses in Virginia. and Iowa at that time till they built another one. They built another one, I believe, in Roanoke, Virginia. But when you went in, you had to fill out the application on the computer. You had to do a computer test. You had to pass, and you had to know computers, and you had to prove all of that, an aptitude test, and then they physically did interviews. And then you went through 3 weeks of training, like you were in a classroom, like the entire 8 hours, learning about the company. And so at that point, if you manually couldn't get in front of a manager and ask to apply, and they only took so many in a day, you didn't get the job. The same with almost every job that I've had. It was a walk in. You had to impress the people with your charisma and manipulation, and kind of like when I met George, and you just get your foot in the door, and then you got those jobs. There's been times, of course, we didn't even do applications. You literally, it was a handshake. You was in, you filled out the, your W-2 forms and social security card and driver's license, and you was in. But now they take in a flood of applications. Most of the time, they don't even know what the people are, look like, or who they are, or they just randomly pick applications, and then they go from there. And there's just a flood of applications. It's hard. It's hard these days. So, but yeah, kind of miss the.
Yeah, Philip Macy says, hi, Heidi and George. I'm trying to catch up on the conversation. Did another foreigner Filipino relationship go bad? Well, yeah, I guess bad as in the foreigner decided to file charges on his Filipina for scamming him out of millions. As always, Luke says. Dakota Jarvis says, don't you think now with applying online, it's harder to get an interview? Seems like even at Walmart, Target, it's harder to get an interview. No, I kind of agree because there is no human connection. You, like Heidi said just a few seconds ago, that you have to charm somebody with your charisma.
I worked at Walmart a while back, and I'm trying to think of how old my kids were. They had to be, so this was over 25 years ago. That was a walk-in. That was a walk-in application. You applied, I didn't take no. I didn't never drop an application. I'm pushy. I was like, can I talk to a manager now? When I'm holding the application, I go I go balls deep situation, and I'm like ballsy. I'm like, can I talk to the manager now? And they're like, here, just a minute. And then I hand them the application, and I let them know I would like to work here and very interested. And you just go from there. And I worked in the warehouse, so it was basically unloading trucks at the time. So there wasn't a lot of work, and where I was living, and there were only so many jobs in those small areas. So it was further out in the country, and so I had no choice. So, but you had to do a manual interview.
Yeah. Awachan says she's a scammer. She just got busted. Dakota Jarvis says, sounds like she's a scammer, but he willingly gave the money. I'm pretty sure, yes. Awachan says agrees with it. Pablo says, I wonder if he was in this ring. Obviously he is. He is part of this thing.
Yeah, that was him. He went in.
Yeah, Luke says she looks quite older. No, she does look older.
She looks
Correct.
Old, actually.
Yeah,
period.
to be
That's
working
George.
on a call center. And by my experience in the past call center ladies generally don't date foreigners and original generation foreigners.
They said she was
don't
call
want
center.
them to work. They don't want them as they work a lot.
No,
I get
the
you.
foreigners don't like their women working. Yeah, they don't want them because that's why they're retired, which is rough. But some of them don't mind. But no, I thought she did. She's up there at 24. So usually they hire in younger. And
Earn Doggyful says they met on TikTok.
TikTok.
Pabuchian, no handcuffs. Good question. Good point. Okay, for those of you who are wondering, do they use handcuffs? Yes and no. Are there handcuffs available? Yes. Do they use the handcuffs? Only if necessary. For example, literally 2 days ago, they arrested a Filipino broke into another Filipino's house for theft. Obviously, it's a break-in and entry kind of deal. And then, and of course, the neighbors ratted him out for a case of beer. I'm not making this up. they ratted the guy out for a case of beer, a case of San Miguel beer. Miguelitos. So they ratted the thief out for a case of beers, and the cops came over
Better
to
go.
the guy's house and they said, "All right, we know you did it. Are you gonna fight?" And the guy says, "No, sir." And then all he did was get up, and they just walk into the cop car, throw him in the back, no cuffs, and that's it. And off to the station they went. So are handcuffs usually used? Not for the most part. They only use handcuffs if the person attempts to flee or fight. But for the most part, they don't.
What?
Um,
Because weirdo.
Luke says, "Good point. Jarvis, Target, and Walmart hired big during the holidays. Yes, the best time to hire is during the holidays, and they do the same thing here."
Hmm.
Lou says, even with the internet as a tool for career development, most people just use it for Facebook and other junk. For example, this lady. There you go.
I was just sorry. I got distracted with the cat. Got distracted by the pussy. I'm gonna tell you right now. They put cuffs on me. They say put some cuffs on that bitch. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Talk about discrimination. If you did the same thing, I bet they put cuffs on me just based on size.
Well, in America, they put cuffs on anybody. It's just
Yeah.
what they do. Paula Chigan says no frisk. She may have a weapon. Again, same thing. They don't usually search you unless, like, if you fought or attempt to run, then they will search you. If you didn't, they usually don't.
I think it's a mannerism, to be honest. Even Vitelli probably didn't even get cuffed. None of the above. It's like they beat him with a feather situation unless they really have to. And then if they got to turn,
Yeah,
me,
they probably
I
didn't.
guarantee they're going to hit
They
you with a
probably
stick.
didn't cuff him up and they probably brought him to the car without cuffs. And once he got out of the car, once he got processed, that's when. But for the most part, they don't use
I would
cuffs.
probably say here, as I've said before, they're either going to whip you with a feather or beat you with a whip. I don't think there's any in between here. They mean business when they mean business, and they're just as super, super soft baby nice as they've got to. And so, and when they're scamming, they're real heavy duty scammers. So it's just like it is what it is here as far as,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean,
Yeah, Luke says, I feel it's easier to throw your resume out there instead of wasting needless going around applying. If they want you, they'll call. For the most part, if I have to leave an application and walk away, odds are I probably didn't get the job. That's how it's always been back then.
mhm.
Um,
Now, here's the thing. There was a time in between that it was beautiful and nice. So at a point where a lot of the applications went online, probably early 2000, late 90s, when you could apply online for jobs and those websites came up, people were getting jobs in the beginning. And it's like, wow, at least I don't have to drive around to 20 or 30 places. But there became a turn where thousands were doing it, and it was so overflooded, like social media. It was so overwhelming and so overflooded with crap that they just, it really pushes out the good people. Then more qualifications were required, randomly picking people, and there's a lot going on.
yeah,
So,
now when it comes to what Heidi's talking about, when there's a lot of people, there's a lot of competition. For example, a job fair or something like that. You have to wear something or do something that will make the interviewers remember you. Whether it's a mannerism, an artwork,
red thong.
say something completely different. Um, like not necessarily different. When I say different, like a little not part of the interview. Like, for example, like,
Extra socks in your bra.
well, you can look. Well, no, well,
Extra socks in your
But what I'm saying
pants.
is, you just have to say something that will make them remember you. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, if you see one of the interviewers carrying, like, for example, a Hello Kitty pen. Oh, I love Hello Kitty. I sleep with a Hello Kitty pillow. That something like that. They're like, and each time they look at their pen, they'll remember you, and they're like, what about that guy? It's just it's a mental thing. But anyway, um, but of course, that's probably useless to us now at our age. If you guys know what I'm talking about, but to our younger generation, yeah. Luke says they always lie about kids. That's correct, and husband. That's correct. Before I got married, I experienced the same crap. Correct. I just dipped out and left and called her a liar. Correct. No, the best way, honestly, is just take a bow, as they say. Take a bow and leave. Um, yeah. Lou says, but they are making an example out of Vitaly, make an example out of this low life Filipino. Luke says exactly 100%. No, no, no. They will. They will.
They will.
Earn doggy full, no ID on their shirts. No, for the most part. Again, same thing with the cuffs. They don't have to be like fully formal to do anything. So just remember that.
Oh, check it out. Your costume is here.
Oh, cool. Luke says Vital loves attention. This has got no. Vital has been around for a while. He's one of the OG YouTubers, which is kind of sad because it's a big fall from grace from him, if that makes any sense. And I don't know why he did what he did, to be honest with you. But anyway, Dakota says too many desperate older U.S. American men getting suckered because they want a relationship in the U.S. as well.
Now, Dakota, I know, and I must be fair. Women and men both get suckered because at my age, if George was to die or slip down the stairs after he went upstairs and picked something upstairs and came down the stairs and slipped and fell somehow, some way, and he was no longer here with us. No dang. Oh, you just got used to it. He got used to being pushed down the stairs. If something was to happen to George and it was just me, I would have to be like realistic with myself, size, age, or whatever. To start dating now would just be, most of the older guys are married here. Then it would probably be somebody younger. And if I started giving things out at some point, I would have to realize they're just my sugar baby. And that's just where it would be. And I can't do that. I don't know how these guys date these younger women and realistically feel. And this is just me being honest, that these women are madly in love or dating them for just who they are. I'm sure they got good personalities and they're good people, but when the ones we've been seeing lately, I have been, these are women that they're almost 3 times older. They're in their 20s and they're 19 and they're 20. And these guys are in really, really bad shape. Like me, just overweight, out of shape. And that, I don't know, but it could happen with women too, and it can happen anywhere in the world. So I just don't know. I just couldn't see doing it for just that purpose. There's no way. It doesn't matter if I had a bunch of surgery and I was, a size 0 and in good shape. I would still just be older. And I don't know. I just can't see taking on and marrying somebody at that age. I mean, it doesn't hurt, but you just have to look for all the flags and signs, but nobody's going to listen. That is just the truth.
No,
These
it's true.
mistakes happen over and over again.
Nobody's gonna listen.
Yeah, there's no way. Hey, Michael, how are you doing? Hey, guys, sorry I'm busy a lot. Keep missing your lives. Put the damn cat down, Heidi. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, thank you so much. Appreciate it. I know she's so stinking cute. George, I put a TikTok on earlier that has our music on it, and he was sitting there. They were all taking a nap by him, all 4 kittens, and the older one was up on the shelf over here. And so they're good kids.
Yeah, and again, thank you so much, Michael J, for your support. And speaking of support,
Thank you.
give us a thumbs up, share the video, hit us a like or dislike. That's up to you. In fact, don't subscribe. Just saying.
Yeah, don't subscribe. It's probably better to tell you guys just don't
Do not subscribe. Do not donate money so we can buy a new computer because our computer's dying.
Well, here's the deal. I have to figure when to do that. We discussed that yesterday because usually we start about a month or so before our birthdays making plans. And that's another thing. Your AC just went out. So we may have to actually do a rental on top of going to, it's called San Felipe or something. So there's no way we're taking an un-air conditioned car anywhere, short distance maybe. But like you said, in case it rains or something else, it would get inside the car, and then you got the
I'll just put a
electronics in.
couch on the roof, and that's where you can sit while I drive.
When you went when you went and checked that out, what was the actual cost the other day?
10 to 13.
Okay,
depending.
which is cheap, by the way.
10,000 pesos.
So it's about
10,000
200
pesos.
to 13 would be about $240.
10 to
So
13.
that's probably not bad. In the U.S., that's probably about a $500-600 job. What is it that needs to be done? They told you.
It needs a new compressor.
Okay, so how much is a new compressor on a car in the United States?
Yeah.
So it's
The
I thought
compressor went
last
out
is
on the car,
$650. So here it's going to cost them $250 to be done. So yeah.
Yeah.
So no. So then we'd have to do that. So anyways, we'll make plans on that. So.
Yeah.
Both of our birthdays are in July. Usually we plan with something, or if there's something that we're trying to rally up support for, we just outright ask for it. So we ain't even going to beat around and me stuff George's shorts and me stuff my top and try to make the money that way. Just going to run a board on it. But
Okay.
where'd you get lost at? Oh, it's because, yeah, when you click
Wow.
on this sticker money. Hey, Kevin, what is up? Kevin is
Okay.
in the house from
Yeah, Bad Boy
Facebook.
says, good morning, beautiful people. My flight booked and a dinner on me at Drake's, if that's okay. No, that sounds great. Thank you, Bad Boy. And yeah, hey, Bad Boy. Nice to hear you.
What is going on?
Hear from you. Sorry.
Hey, Pablo, I do. These days, it's harder to find that honest, good panay in 2025 that won't use you for your wallet. Sad. And that's true. You know, we do hear and see and have met up with a lot of legit couples, but it's it's just a hit and miss. Like we seen this video today that we watched, and everything that people tell you not to do could actually work out for you, and nothing may ever happen. Remember, he says they met on Craigslist and they hooked up on the first night. They went out to breakfast the next morning. They met in a dark parking lot. She got into a car with a stranger, and they've been married for 20 years.
Yeah, this is something different.
Well, what I'm saying is these guys could meet a 23-year-old or a 21-year-old that may not ask at all. It's kind of like there's a good chance that there's not a bitchy American woman out there that's overweight.
Well, I mean, there's expectations. I mean, just saying.
I'm just gonna let you know it's not gonna.
It's just
it's not gonna happen.
There's always expectations.
No, I'm just joking. But no, it's always possible. You know, you have to try. You can't give up. And I feel sad for the guy because honestly, I don't know if he watched certain channels, like so many of them out there that say, hey, go for the gusto. And why didn't you hook up when you got here, down to, oh my God, do this, and that. And there's so many dating channels and this, and that. Does he have another brother that had somebody? And then that's how.
Right. I
we
mean,
decide. We don't
why
know
didn't he just come down here before calling the cops? Just spend a night with her and tear her a new hole. I don't know.
Maybe because it didn't fit.
I highly doubt that, but okay.
What color did you say the boy was?
Yeah, but it's probably Los Yang.
Oh, snap. So no.
Okay, for
matter
those
how big the carrot is,
those
you're
of
telling.
you who are new to the channel, word of the day, Los Yang. Okay. Here's the demonstration. This is the hole. This is the thing. Los Yang. Get the point?
Ring my bell.
Yeah, hot dog in the hallway. Word of the day, Los Yang. Hot dog in the hallway.
Anyway,
Anyway,
about that song. We did say hot dog in the hallway, but I don't remember the name of the song. Did we upload that to our music? I don't think we did.
No,
Oh,
we did. Now be aware too. This is okay. Remember, I told you they don't always use handcuffs unless necessary. Same thing with where are the NBI identification. Be aware that I would say 50% of NBI personnel I've met walk around in civilian clothing. About 50-50 chance they'll be wearing civilian clothing.
And you probably don't want to be identified. You're pretty much like FBI. They just don't.
Yeah, NBI is the equivalent of FBI, and even in the U.S., most of them don't wear uniforms. They wear suits, which is not a uniform. You know what I'm saying? They wear the women. They still wear the female version of a suit. But what I'm saying is they're usually wearing civilian clothing. The FBI.
Is that kind of like why you don't walk around in a wife beater shirt and shorts and thongs, and versus wearing the outfits that you do? The national uniform.
Anyway, Earn Doggy Full says,
Yeah, they just
I think
don't
this is
identify.
bogus. I get why you would say that, but I don't think it is. It's fair to think that, but I don't think it is. Pablo Chiana says Shay Shay should live in the Philippines. He would not get in trouble for having a relationship with a teen.
I have no idea.
Well, no, I don't know, but either way, no, you'll get in trouble.
Yeah, she will.
Rob Morrison says hello. Good morning from San Nicolas, Pangasinan. Good morning,
Hey,
Rob.
what is going on?
Bad Boy says, plus I didn't get a notification. I was on my Facebook store, on my Facebook. Oh, yeah, it says Facebook, my store, and seeing you live. Oh,
He didn't.
thank you.
Yeah, sometimes the notifications don't come, and it depends on when we set it up. Like we struggled to set. Sometimes we set it up the night before, and then sometimes we set it up before then. Hey, what's going on? Thank you, Chosen One, so much.
Hey, look, Chosen One's a cop.
Yeah.
What is that? What is COP?
Hold on.
Where you at, Chosen One? Chosen One travels the world. He's a world traveler. So I don't know where COP is. It's kind of funny. It says cop, doesn't it? Thank you so much for your support, Chosen One. As always, we always
He's in
appreciate you.
Colombia.
Oh, Colombia?
COP comes up under Colombia pesos.
So it's
Colombian peso.
CO Colombia, and then P is pesos. Okay, cool. Good to know.
What are you
Good to
doing
know.
in Colombia? Getting you
He-
some beautiful tail.
He goes
huh?
to Colombia a lot, actually. That's his other go-to place.
Can you bring me back some cornstarch?
What?
What? What?
Anyway,
And some cinnamon. Thanks.
maybe would be in trouble, but most American dudes see them roaming around. Dude would get smashed anywhere we see it. Wouldn't get in trouble. Oh, okay. Earn Doggy Fall says I need to use an iPhone.
You get an iPhone.
I said my phone. Oh, Bad Boy says, where's the donuts and coffee?
That's what I seen that further down. That's what I answered. Yeah. That's why I'm kind of, like I said, I'm still upset with them. And George, you wonder why I'm ticked at you all the time sometimes. It's like, and then what he'll do is if he knows I'm upset, then he does the quiet, passive stuff. And then I don't get anything answered or done. And you knew the whole time you had that in there, but you were saving it for a surprise, huh?
Apparently,
he went out
Heidi
this
doesn't
morning.
know the meaning of surprise.
But you were allowing me that donut. I'd have been really pissed if we spent the $10 on donuts and you had them in there. So you allowed the lunch/breakfast to be ordered and brought in because you wanted the pork chops. And you knew there were donuts. If the donuts didn't get canceled and you were surprising me with that, there's a point where you tell somebody, don't worry about that. But you didn't.
Hold on.
We are not made of money.
Surprise.
You wonder why I'm pissed at you all day. Really. And there's not a medication or pill in this country that's going to cure that.
What are you going to do? Call the NBI?
No, I'm going to side up with a bunch of these Filipinos. We're going to whoop up on your asses.
Oh, they're not.
I'm going to form a nation.
They're not going to whoop up on me. Why would they?
I'm going to call it the White Brown Cream Nation. And I'm going to, Filipino Americans, and we're just going to have a party on your asses.
Yeah. Our Phil Binger. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Morning to you all.
She should have asked for more money. That's what she should have done.
Right. Luke says, Magkano po, sir? Up to you. Right. I hate that.
Yeah, Makanapo. Well, that's what they do when they come to the door. I thought I was going to get snagged the other day. It wasn't even a holiday. It was somewhere in between. And there were about 10 more people outside. I had to check to see if there's a holiday because at 5 a.m, there were a bunch of people for the political guy up the street that's running for election. And I'm like, is it a holiday? And it wasn't. But they'll walk right up to you and say that sometimes I pretend I'm deaf. Sometimes I'll speak French and then walk away.
Oh, that's why there's a bunch of people again. Anyway.
Makanapo
Yeah.
is what they say when they walk up, and they'll, it's
Who says, George, when I was living in the Philippines, I observed fathers and mothers leaving home and traveling for 5 hours to care for a sick family member. So typical. Correct.
well, yeah, he's just letting you know that it does happen. So
No, that's reverse.
oh
That's the dad and the mom going out taking care of other people.
of other people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I see. I missed
Yeah.
that. I thought you.
Paulo Chicano. Hey, Mike.
Hey.
Curtis says, oh, hey, Curtis.
Hey, Curtis, how are
Yeah,
you?
Edward. Hello from Zamboanga del Norte.
M Doggyful called your ass out. That's
Dingleberries.
probably dingleberries you fed me because it had fur on. It looked like toilet paper. I'm gonna write a song called Dingleberries. George says, "Let me pick them so they don't fall on the ground or the birds get it." From Dasses, yeah. They're
They
Japanese cookies.
see when they're early, they have fuzz. When they're fully ripe, they don't have the fuzz anymore.
Well, I don't want to eat raw
But
berries, dude.
But here's the problem. Like I said, when they become ripe, I won't be able to get you any because there won't be any to give you
Why?
because people already picked them out.
Well, who's those people? Because I know it's a compound. So you letting other people, other family members take them?
Is it your mulberry bush? Is
I'm
it
gonna
my
go- I'm
is
gonna
it
go
my
around the-
mulberry bush? Is it
I'm
your
gonna go
mulberry
around
bush?
the
No.
Mulberry bush. Mulberry
No.
bush.
So
I'm gonna take the
therefore-
whole damn bush. I'm gonna go
So
around
therefore,
the mulberry bush.
The moment they're ripe, guess who's gonna get them? The owner is gonna get them, or whoever lives in the compound is gonna get them.
I know where the owners are, and they're out of the country. So therefore, 9/10 of the law of possession of family
I
falls
said
to the biggest person that needs to be fed in the family, and
you
that's
can
me.
rewind the life if you want. I said the ones that live there.
I know that. Well, you started to say.
I said the
owner.
owners and the people that live there. I said
Well, the owners don't live there.
I get it, but still, I still said and the ones that live there. I watch out. I pay attention to the words I say. I always do. But anyway,
Do they really live there?
Victor C. Hi, Heidi George. Oh, thank you so much,
Thank
Victor.
you, Victor.
Yes.
they
Hey, Sarah. How you doing?
really live
Hello, Heidi and George. Hello,
Hi,
roomies.
Sarah.
Lou says it's weird because Filipinos made bad choices in life.
Me too.
That made life harder and are so entitled to traveling and money because somehow they deserve for having a hard life. Some people feel that way, correct? Sweet Caroline, It says, hey guys. Oh, that's right, George.
Oh,
the
the
Kentucky,
Kentucky
Derby,
Derby's coming.
2025. There you go. Soon.
My grandmother used to watch it every year, and so did I. I didn't catch it this last year.
Yeah. Grammy says, got a groove on, says, how come I cannot see people's live chat? I have no problem with other. No. Depending on which channel you're watching it on, because it's broadcasted currently on different channels right now. So depending on who you're on, you only get to see the ones on the same channel.
Okay, so another explanation is if people do their live streams through and they don't set it up in advance through like we're using StreamYard and you don't go in and set it up and turn on the live chat replay, then they won't get a live chat replay. And so you're possibly watching what you think is a live and it was never turned on. So a lot of them don't even turn it on. That's why I had to learn a bunch of stuff. I still learn stuff all the time. George does. And here's another thing. If they edit anything out of the video, which a lot of them are cutting things out or they're shortening their live streams, it'll always cut out the chat unless you're some magician and can do it. For the most part, you cannot save it once you edit a video. So either you forgot to turn the switch on so that's why. Live chat will not be replayed with it. And there's another way to find it, by the way. If you're on your phone device, you have to go look. They've changed it. Like it's in a drop down box now where it used to be up on the screen itself where there was a different emblems. Now it's further down and it'll say live chat replay where people can see it now versus searching for it. And so it's not always automatic if it's after the fact. So, but if it's during it, I don't know why it's not in there. So it means it's probably not a live chat and they forgot to turn it on.
Yeah, Patriot for Life says he's referring to as Americans, how Filipinos see Americans. It's the AFAM Bank of America. There you go. Bad boy, no, I disagree with this one. I've seen a YouTube video on one of those do more YouTubers are making a hell of a cash out of it. No, do not do YouTube, please. Trust me, thank me later. Not really. Don't do YouTube, please. No,
yeah, and it's not everybody, and it's getting harder. As a matter of fact, me and George was just discussing it again.
The money is going down.
Yeah,
and it'll just raise your blood pressure for no good reason.
It's always surprising how much people reinvest. And like for us, we do it for multiple reasons. It's nice to get a little extra money, but our money dropped again this month. And so same amount of videos, same everything. And the views show they're the same, but somehow it's showing 4 or 5 thousand pesos less this month. So it's just like, good thing it's not where we need it. Like, some people are running channels like they really need the money. There are people running 2, 3 channels and they do it full time, multiple channels all the time, literally day and night. They're releasing stuff, and I can't see that either. We used to do a lot of videos, but no, the money is dropping, which means they're paying less right now because there's nothing really different except for shortest stickers. Some months we get more than others, but it was an Easter that was just this past month we're being paid for. And we did get some for Easter, and we're still getting paid less this month. So you can't do it for the money. And the only ones, getting rich are paying big advertisement, adding extra in there. They're being sponsored. They're using things that we refuse to actually use and do. And, I was just talking to George about that in the beginning of this. And that was a full discussion before we came on about that people are doing crazier stuff, spending too much money to do it. And we're not going to go in debt either, trying to,
Yeah. Luke says, I'm currently in Miami where Cubans and Venezuelan girls are scamming at all times, high and locally. Correct.
Yep.
Last month, a girl from Romania, correct, scammed a rich simp and took all his Bitcoin. Well, no.
Yeah. Oh, I have a story behind the scamming.
Let's just leave it at that because I don't want to sound like, I'm just saying there's truth in this statement, and pay attention to what he said.
Real quick. There was one, he has a big YouTube channel where he goes after scammers and he exposes. So the guy's entire channel has almost 2 million subscribers and he gets good numbers, right? Somebody skimmed his people in there based on a current scam that's been going on and has become popular. In other words, a lot of people are being hit by it. The guy went in there responding to people, trying to attract people. And he said that he knows about it and that he could help or something. Well, then he caught the attention of the channel owner because he had made comments to a couple people. And he went to him and asked him for help. And when he went in there, he's like, yeah, I can help you based on this, and that, and this, and that. He was a scammer himself. And he pretended to be a girl. And he's like, well, how can I pay you? It was to retrieve the dirty photos, the dirty photo scam. And he says, oh, well, I'll tell you what, you can just pay me with 1 Bitcoin. It's not a lot of money. And yeah, it's at $94,000 because he said it was only like $100. And he goes, well, 1.5 Bitcoin will be enough. And he used the voice. He's like, are you sure, sir? She says, my dad's going to be mad if I take this out of his wallet. But I believe you. It's a lot easier to pay you, like paying you with PayPal. So he goes, I'll do it or whatever. And he's like, no, he goes, I'm not lying to you. So then he broke out AI and AI says, oh, the conversion is 94.666. And she goes, sir, that sure sounds like they're saying that you're asking for way too much money. He says, no, AI is lying to you or something. And then he asked AI and it says, nope, that is the current exchange. And so crazy. He was covering the dirty photo scam that I was talking about earlier. And somebody went in and played on the sympathy of people that said, it happened to me recently and it's tearing up my life. He contacts them that way, saying he can get the photos from the computer and retrieve them by hacking another person. And I couldn't believe it. So they went into a scamming video, looked for the people that were scammed, and then took advantage. People are lowlifes. I mean, that is beyond lowlife. Knowing that their lives are upside down.
Makes sense to me.
Well, makes sense, but it's kind of crazy. But that's a YouTuber putting out that kind of information about busting scammers, and then the scammers are coming in his thing and getting back because he does expose them. Like he shows their faces and turns the camera, so it looks like they're still teaching lessons, but it was messed up, man.
Yeah. Working for Nothing says Mad Dog 2020. Yuck. Cisco, dang. I haven't heard that since My Bay Area days. Yeah, just be aware that I was just joking. We really don't drink those. I have drank them only just to taste them. Yes, kind of like I drank Aftershock. That doesn't exist anymore, by the way. Um, I thought you already addressed that.
No, I
didn't.
didn't. No, it just says, George, where are these comments on YouTube? Not mine. Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Okay, I'm just not skipping her comment. Yeah, message me. I don't know what that's about, Sarah.
No, that's the same thing. I said depending on the channel they're on.
Oh,
That's
was
what I
it?
said
Oh, gotcha.
earlier. No. That's Sarah. Yes, but the one earlier is somebody else.
Yeah, gotcha.
Patriot for Life says they have Filipino live cam shows out of their houses remotely. NBI busting them all the time.
Which is illegal, by the way. You're not allowed to be a cam girl. They're not allowed to do fans only. All that, including, the corn and all these nude. Like if she exposed herself, they probably won't even talk about that if she did because it's still illegal. So
Bad Boy says we had St. George's Day on the 28th. The people out in the cities with the English flag. There you go.
gotcha. Yeah.
Richard C says April 30th is National Honesty Day. True story.
Today is some other day. I forgot what. Oh,
Um,
today's National Password Day.
Patriot for Life says, who remembers Jade Cool? Location was where Philly's bar sits now. Jade Cool was an internet bar live streaming cam girls.
Huh, interesting. Considering it's illegal for if they have any nudity or anything, huh? Because they're not allowed to have streaming cam girls here. Cam girls are supposed to be illegal in the Philippines. But no, I don't. I mean, I've only been here for 4 years, so
Yeah. Bad Boy says he's in the biggest bad artist prisons in the Philippines. Correct.
yeah,
They sent him to the bad one. Yeah. Ted
Yeah.
Dengen says the government was referring to him as Russian.
okay, that's what I thought. I didn't keep hearing he had an American.
Yeah, he has an American green card.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, but I don't think they're going to trade for somebody who owns a green card. If he had an American citizenship,
Oh,
key
he has been
word.
denied every 5 years. He has applied for U.S. citizenship.
There
He
it
does not
is.
have an American passport. He stated this more.
Yeah,
this
one
in
parent
session.
is American,
okay,
the
okay.
other's Russian. So no, they're not going to trade for. It doesn't matter how good you are in the country, and I don't think they will. Not now that the president, of course, got hold
No,
of him.
then it's worse if he's
and
Russian. If they treat him as Russian, no. And during the early days, they called him American, but now that they've pegged him as Russian, it's worse for him. It's a big step down in the world hierarchy, if that makes any sense. Patriot for Life says digital nomads. There you go. Bad Boy says, has anyone been being charged for the murders of the Korean guy who was shot in Angeles City?
No, we haven't. I haven't looked into any of that any further. I know that they found the body of the one that was kidnapped. I think they were either Chinese. They ended up finding that guy, but they were not alive.
Yeah, nope. Nobody charged yet.
No. So
Yeah. Mike says, I'm sure Philippine has more current info on these toxins. Well, in all probability, that's gonna be gone. I'm talking about like swept under the rug. I'm gonna be honest with you.
what's that?
The Korean guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And anyway,
Yeah.
Lutka says, hello, hey
what's going
Lutka.
on?
Bad Boy says, I have a maid out in. Is that Kyle?
It probably meant Cali that earns over 90 plus an hour and he cannot survive. No, it's not even a joke anymore. The cost and the expenses. And I still believe I'm going to tilt into the tariffs and the empty shelves that are coming up through the United States, Canada with their 25% tariff. Part of it's run by Canadian electricity, and those costs are getting ready to go up. And everything is through China. I mean, when material and things aren't coming in, that the country has relied on too long in the United States for cheap products and cheaper prices and an excessive amount because the country has grown so large that they needed China. But China needs America too. But the problem is, I think they're going to hold stead too. They're going to, there's a lot going on. So there's going to be a major price on repairs. Um, there's all kinds of stuff coming that's going to cost. And I believe the president's word the other day was pretty much, oh, well, it's coming, yes. He actually made a very, very strong statement the other day. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe he said it like that. But he said he was going to do the tariffs and they're here. But I don't think anybody expected to go to order something on Amazon or one of these other companies and find out that a $50 pair of shorts turned $130. Just giving you an ideal. So just using that example because most of the items they get are from China. The same with some of the other shops, but most of Walmart. They did say that Walmart told Trump that they would see about bringing in more American products. But I'm telling you, Walmart is full of
There's a
foreign
lot
products
more
with
China-based
American
products than you
labels.
guys realized.
Mhm.
Even if the product is American, there's a lot of components inside that product that make it work Chinese.
Everything, yeah.
Now back then, not anymore. Back then, that America's dependency on China's products was so high that America started to say, "Hey, we need to stop doing this because guess what? Most back then, a lot of even military equipment relied on Chinese electronics inside them." And then the US government just thought, like, wait a minute, what if China decides to put kill switches on these devices? We're screwed. And then America started to throttle back on dependence on Chinese products. But point being is there is a lot of dependence on Chinese manufacturing and products, whether you're aware of it or not.
And Canada, which is at
Yeah.
25%. You're talking about wood, material, aluminum, all these things are coming from both those countries. I
Yeah.
think with the combination of Mexico, that and that, the average household is going to start paying 5,000-6,000 a year or more until this is resolved. But they say he's close to making a deal, but I don't know. There's still a backup. For every day that goes by, it could take a while for all of it to come back through. So people need to expect to
Right.
hold on.
A lot of it is supplemented by China, whether you're aware of it or not. And like I said, and now the kill switch conspiracy, be aware that um the kill switch goes both ways. The kill switch, like I said, that America kind of backed up on Chinese reliance on Chinese products on as far as military hardware is concerned. And the reason being is because allegedly, keyword allegedly, that America put kill switches on military equipment too. So whatever America sells, as far as let's say America decides to sell the Scorpion tanks or the CV series, as it were, to Iran or
Mhm.
Saudi, they have a kill switch where they can just shut off all these tanks at once if they decide to use them against Americans, that kind of deal.
I just seen, and this was legit. The tilapia farms are suffering. This just came from the China Post. The tilapia farms sell most of theirs to the United States. It's like the number 2 fish in America. All that frozen fish you guys get is not coming from America.
No, most
All
of it,
that in
like I said,
Walmart is from China.
most of it, yes.
So the tilapia markets
Some of the
are
chicken too.
is currently going under, and the reason it is because of what's going on with the tariffs. Their fish is useless now there, so they've got all this excessive fish, and it makes it drop even further in price because they can't sell it, right?
Yeah, and it goes bad.
And so that means you guys can expect tilapia over the next few months when it arrives to America. If it ever does, it's going to be astronomical. So a lot of the fish is actually going to go up.
Yeah,
but
the fisheries.
Yeah, the fisheries are actually. But let me read what I seen here in New York real quick. It comes from a New York news station. It's just listing the things that Trump has done. It says in the last 100 days, he has signed 142 orders. Okay. And again, understand me and George has said this. This is just a topic of conversation. And I believe for me, it's not about the president, whether it was Biden or this, and that. It's usually about what they're doing and their actions. And each thing changes each person. Some people are okay with Trump doing this, but they're not okay with the others. And that's fine. Everybody's going to have their difference on saying the president. But in general, they're saying he has signed more orders. The only other president that has done that is Roosevelt. Well, he hasn't, close to it. He did 123 actions in 100 days. So he was trying to change a lot of things. It says here that 217 lawsuits are currently filed against him right now. 60 of the cases are related to the immigration policies that he's laying on people. So he's got that many lawsuits going, including Harvard and them. So they're upset about the things that are being done. There has been over 150,000 deportations. Okay. And federal government workers, there's been 200,000 workers laid off. 75,000 have taken buyouts additionally, not the ones that were done there. So there's been a lot of changes and things going on. I'm trying to find where he made this statement of pretty much too bad for you guys over the tariffs is what he said. Pretty much deal with it is what he was saying, but I can't. I'm trying to find it. It was actually in one of the big newspapers. I don't know if it wasn't the Times, it might have been the Washington Post, but it was his answer. I think it was during that interview that he just did in front of everybody. But he is he's a shrewd dealer, that is for sure, as far as how he puts things, and sometimes the way he puts it. But pretty much, sayonara, guys, what happened, or pretty much whatever happens is going to happen. I know that's a different saying, but I don't know, but hold tight on that one, that's for sure.
Yeah. Pina Home says, if George backtalked and fell down the stairs. There you go.
Damn shame. And I wouldn't be looking for a replacement. I'd be stupid. And so, hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if George fell down the stairs, whether I was big and fluffy and fat like I am now or skinny. I still wouldn't date somebody it just wouldn't pay me in any manner to start dating, whether I was here or there. And nobody could replace George, so it would just be me and the cats, and I'm good with that. That just means I can order like Kentucky Fried Chicken every day.
There you go.
So I'm gonna save my money.
Right.
Use your money for something else, man. Go on a cruise, and or like somebody said, the truth is, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? Why? I mean, it seems like they're really adding in on these girls when they can just, at that age, if anything else, just have one night stands for the rest of your life. I mean, think about it. If you're in your 60s, I mean, that's what you're. No? Does that mean being no? We're not talking about you. You're like me. I couldn't. I'm just giving advice like the rest of the guys are. Just have a one night stand. Why would you spend almost 300,000?
Wrong with both lifestyles. There's nothing wrong with having a relationship. There's nothing wrong with one night stands. The reason why I grimace when Heidi says one night stands, at our age, one night stands is basically another excuse to being alone.
Well, why can't they do like these Chinese businessmen, these Japanese businessmen, where they have a condo, they buy a $2 million condo that they own, they go on vacation over here to get away from their wives, and then they lay up with just one girlfriend that can stay there year round and be the housekeeper for it. They can be the housekeeper there, and then they can sleep with her on the side. No attachments or something, man.
Yeah.
It'd still be cheaper.
Most people, whether male or female or
And it'd be cheaper
otherwise,
to do rent, I'm sure.
who do one night stands, there's a lot of times they sit there alone in their bedroom and they say to themselves, my life sucks.
I do that now.
Well, they do it more than people realize.
And you said that 3 times.
That gigolo lifestyle only works when you're 20.
A gigolo.
You know what I'm saying?
Everywhere I go.
Victoria says, good morning, Heidi, George, and Aaron. Hey,
Hi, Victoria.
Bad Boy says, I'll be there in a few weeks. Ted says, you're on an alternate channel, not Philippine Antics. If what he's saying is, if you can't see the comments, you'll only get to see the comments on the same channel. What I'm saying is, if you're on Philippine Antics, you'll see the people in Philippine Antics.
Okay, that could be the other part. So if you're talking specifically our channel, yes, we have multiple channels, and 2 of them simultaneously broadcast. But I don't know how. I'm pretty sure if we're on the other channel, you still see all the comments together.
Maybe not all.
Gotcha. Or they're on Facebook
maybe,
and can't see them.
I
So
could
that might be the alternate.
tell you some right stories about Daryl from UK who stayed in my new home. You would not do. Oh, Oh,
Interesting.
okay. Interesting. That's very interesting. No, I believe there's more to the story, of course. In all
We
fairness
always
to
said it
anybody.
on that one.
Yeah.
But he returned back. There were other issues. I believe he had
Yeah.
substance issues at some point, and there was other things going on. He everything went upside down. Then he was with his family. Then he lived with some other people, and so I mean, it's really just kind of out there. Yeah.
Yeah. Grammy says, thank you, Ted. Yep, I was in the wrong channel. Ted let me know. There you go.
All right. So wrong channel.
Yeah. Chosen One says, taking my bitcoins, what nightmares are made of. Thinking about it gives me a panic attack.
So
There
now
you
I
go.
know what it is. Okay, so I was thinking she was just wondering in general why they can't see whatever, but I didn't know they were specifically, they didn't say your channel, or did they say your channel?
No.
I just thought they said YouTube. And
Yeah,
so,
no.
okay, so what it is yes, we're putting the comments up. If they're on our second channel, they're going to see all the comments coming up, but they're not going to be listed in there. So that's what made her think, where are all the comments? So, okay, I get you on that. And that's with it being dual broadcasted, but
Yeah. Huey Barnes says, right on. Never expected Bitcoin would become what it is today. I remember building Ethereum mining rig back in 2016. The price was of
snap.
of Ether was only $12 at that time. No, I know, right? If you only knew, that kind of deal.
Mhm.
But you have to remember that that rig sucked up probably, I don't know.
$800 a month in electricity.
Correct.
Who knows?
Well, no, that's obviously an exaggeration, but
yeah.
no, it did suck up a lot of electricity. Correct. Chosen One says ETH needs to do something. Patriot for Life says that's money laundering. Our Philippine Journey says $150 for shorts. I have a decent income that would never pay that low.
Well, it's an example, but I'm not far from it. So let me tell you what it is a 3-pack of shorts on one of those sites, either Sheen or what's the other one you're always talking about?
Oh.
The other Chinese shop that's here.
Timo?
Timu, they're 56 for a 5-pack. They are at $56. So $10 a short would be a bargain in the US. So set for the Americans, it's set at $56. Prices are different in different areas. It has gone up here for Sheen. But not by much, but I think it's going up because of everything going on in China. I think that like some of the shirts I seen that went up by probably 100 pesos, which is only $2. But for somebody buying things off those sites from the Philippines, to pay another 100 pesos for something, that's a big jump. When it's 400 pesos and it jumps to 5, to me, that's a big jump. But I'm in the peso mentality. But the $56 shorts are now $130 to ship them. So at that point, $130 for the 3-pack or 4-pack is out, as it would be start to become crazy. So that's where it is. So yeah, I was just kind of but no, I just
No, I mean, yeah. Chosen One says Trump doesn't care about being sued. He's been sued all his life.
right.
Huey Barnes says, I don't like Trump,
Like,
but the
get him
Federal
on.
Reserve Act should be repeated. He did right by auditing
Repealed.
Fort Knox.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Federal
No,
Reserve
it
Act
needs
should
to be.
repealed.
No, some of
Sorry.
the things I like and some things I don't. I like when he brought the soldiers in and he was giving them their medallions and all that. And some of the things he really does is really cool. And I must say, and we get where people say, "Oh, you guys just hate Trump and you guys are this and you're that," and like most of part, George, for me, I'm going to say I'm against the act of a person, not the person. Every person that we've ever talked about on this channel or had any, beef or whatever, we would still meet with them. We would still have lunch with them. We ain't got no, like life and death beef with people. And it's the same with like the president. And he seems to be a cool person and really nice in person. Just some of the stuff that he does, like all the last 5 presidents, they've done good and bad. George does bad stuff to me all the time. Oh, sorry, I wasn't supposed to say that.
No, that's not it. You kind of reminded me of what's going on. There's a meme going around in the Philippines, or saying going around in the Philippines right now.
I'm just a gigolo.
Just so you guys
everywhere I go.
Remember, they're Duterte's being
It Get your hand off the table. You're shaking the table.
Is
dude.
being held right now for crimes against humanity. That kind of deal.
You can't say all that stuff on here.
I can't.
You can't talk about that
No, you
man
should
at
be able to. It's
all.
already there. But now, what I'm getting at is
Just kidding.
they're detaining ex-president Duterte, right? So now there's a meme going on, and the meme goes like this: says
I hope
you
this is
you
funny.
cannot mess with you know substance dealers because the Philippine government will get mad at you.
Once can you waste my freaking? I will never get back that 30 seconds of my life again.
See,
George.
you don't appreciate
that. Was
that.
lame. Why do I?
No, it's not lame. If you think about it, it makes sense. Duterte cleaned up the Philippines.
Mhm.
So they're punishing him for cleaning it up. Now, again, don't get me wrong. I agree what he did was wrong, but he still did his job and did a better job than most what other presidents did. Just saying.
But there was some evilness to it. A little bit. Doesn't matter. There were
No. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. But
so that kind of
but
goes
I'm just
along that
explaining to you
line of how the good and the
meme.
bad. Right.
Yeah.
The good and the bad comes along with
Yeah.
everybody. We can bring up other Stalin and Hitler and a bunch of others, the good, the bad, they or like somebody was saying, they were using Trump as an example one day. And then I seen a bunch of comments on Fox and CNN and different places, and they pretty much all had they were close to the same. And they said something about, well, just like one I read, I was telling you about the mafia thing. They said, well, just because so and so gave out millions and then they extorted a bunch of people in New York City back in the 30s,
They still
them
do.
big gangsters, it's just like, does that make them a good, bad person? And anyway, so
Yeah. Our Philippine journey says Trump said get used to it yesterday. Chosen one says Trump got lawyers that will eat the case. There you go. Bad Boy says my youngest daughter, who was 19 on April 29th, is coming out with me too in the Philippines. Aw. White Samurai says Trump's idea to raise tax revenue through tariffs but cut income taxes for poor people basically make work pay.
I'm still trying to figure it out because all the stations, ABC, NBC, CBS, maybe except for Fox that doesn't explain it, they're going on about, I guess people never realize, and still the way the Trump administration's talking is initially that tariffs are not taxes, but you guys are going to pay. I don't get, I mean, I'm dumb. I'm dumber than a box of rocks. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to put that on me. I don't say always the most intelligent things and all of that, and I don't follow things, but even I know that when them ships come in, when those ships come in with those batteries that I need so bad, it's going to be the battery shop that's going to pay 130% now on those batteries, not the people shipping it. And it is considered a tax. And so
it is a tax. It's not
and
considered.
they've
It
been
is a
feeding
tax.
that. And that's what we've been talking about. Is it's like, it's not a tax. It is a tax.
It is
it's
a
not a
tax.
tax. And it's going around the social media.
The
It's not a
definition of
tax.
tariff is a tax.
So part of America and the world have just given up on, okay, it'll just deal with it as it's going up. And you guys are slowly feeling it now. We all are. Even the prices here are starting to go up, but it's just based on different things. Because if one part of the world is suffering, we're all going to start suffering. I'm going to tell you right now, China's going to start raising our shit over here regardless. They need to. Then how come all the stuff that I just bought recently has gone up already on Temu and
they are, but
Shein and Lazada?
That's not how it
most
works.
Most products are Lazada.
Okay, the law of demand and whatever. But point being is,
when
they can raise the prices, but it's not sustainable. They will raise the prices to circumvent their losses. However, because of them raising their prices, they will lose a lot of buyers, and losing a lot of buyers, they will kill them.
Which they means if they lose the buyers because of that, people over in Amsterdam will pay more because they have to.
I really don't want to get into this because this is really a big thing. Because I think I can see what Trump is up to, and I don't want to talk about it because this is not a conspiracy theory. This is a theory I've came up with myself a long time ago once he got into power.
Is it anything that I told you?
No.
Where I believe he's just bluffing right now just to
No,
try to hold
it's
control of the
deeper.
world?
It
He's not trying to
Okay.
really control the world like a.
Okay, is he trying to control the world? Actually, yes.
Is
But
he
that
bullying
not what you
into?
not for the reasons you think. I already told you my theories, but anyway.
So you think that he's going to keep doing what he's doing when the time frame
Ye-
comes up, he's not going to go through with it?
I didn't
And
say
is it?
that. I didn't
Oh,
say
you think
that.
he will? I think the time frame will come up, whatever time frame he's set, and I think it'll all get dropped, no matter where it's set with the
Well,
world. And I really think he's wanting to be seen. This is his last time frame to be in. I think he's setting a path for one of his sons to be president, and it goes deeper on the other political party. There's a lot, and
well, like I said, it's not what our channel's about. But
does it even matter anymore? I don't get to push you down the stairs.
yeah, Peter Up for Life, thank you so much. I appreciate you, man. And
George is Rob Schneider. We love you. Who's Rob Schneider?
Gigolo. Male
Oh, oh, Deuce Bigelow,
Yeah.
male gigolo.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. That's a big. Anyway,
Well, you're no longer my token Asian anymore when I got a whole slot machine of tokens here. So you're no longer my gigolo when I got a whole freaking pool full of jello.
right. Bad Boy says, all I ask of Daros, no smoking in my new home. Plus, I found out how to get cheaper flights. Lost in the Philippines
Hey.
says he has so many lawsuits filed against him because he's launched a heck of a lot of unconstitutional executive orders.
I'm still wondering about that, regardless of whether things are good or bad. When it's going against the basic rules, that's kind of, but it and it's just not one person. Let's just say that MSNBC was totally against Trump only. You're like, well, they're just lying. It's not just one outlet that's saying this, or people, or polls or whatever. It's getting to be substantial now, the amount of evidence, but somehow nobody's done anything yet, or who knows? So maybe there's a grand plan somewhere. And I'm here, so I mean, I'm like 80% out, anyways, man.
Lost in the Philippines says the big problem is Supreme Court of the United States said
I think
Trump
I think I'm
is
turning.
going to bring back Abrego Garcia. Trump said he can, but won't. When a president defies Supreme Court of the United States of America order, that's authoritarianism. And a
That's what
guy
they're
with
saying.
as many bankruptcies and Trump even bankrupting a casino ain't playing 3D chess.
Yeah,
That guy's
playing
playing
with
tiddlywinks.
Yeah. No, they're saying that most of his businesses are failed. So he's built on one thing. I just seen a guy, and I'm just going to tell you a real quick story also. There was a guy that just told the world that Coca-Cola did not hire him. He was working for a temp agency. He went to go switch from the temp agency directly with Coca-Cola. That application is done through Coca-Cola, everything. They turned him down because they found he was a felon. Then it led to that Coca-Cola supports music venues of artists, and there's quite a few of them that are felons. I won't mention who the felons are, but they got backers of that. But yet they won't personally hire a regular person as a felon. So I get it that it's about
that's
money,
somewhat
and
different though.
the people didn't seem to think so in the comments. I'm just trying to go somewhere on
No,
this.
no. It's kind of no, that's different. That's one thing hiring somebody, and that's another hiring contractual workers.
He was, when you work for some of those big companies like that, Anheuser, you do go from temp agencies to full time by
I
applying for the
know
company.
that. That's what I said.
I get
That makes him an employee. The other ones
Well,
are
what I was getting
contractual
to
workers
is
essentially. So
they
therefore,
added into
they're not-
bad
they're not the same
business is
thing.
that Trump is a felon. So the guy was ragging on Trump too. So he was going on about Trump being a felon and the things that he's doing and not doing, and they're accepting this, and that. They would have never dealt with that if that was Jimmy Carter. And it kind of went into a deeper. That's where I was going with this, is that who they will allow to do things these days. And then somebody said, yeah, then it becomes a form of discrimination versus, what's going on. So we'll see. Yeah, that's where I was going with that
Well,
story. So, but yeah, all right.
Yeah, no, we're on the bottom. Bad Boy says just look at our big ports live on Google Earth. They're empty
Yes.
without ships.
Yeah,
Victoria
cost is
says,
coming.
who forgot thumbs up? Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bad Boy says Trump has a state senate visitor with King Charles never being done before. A District of New York.
Wait a minute, I don't get that one. You're saying that as a state visit. He's saying a state visit. In other words, he's coming to the White House. Charles has been to the White House. You talking about King Charles? Yes.
I don't know.
Well, okay. Yeah. I would
Um,
have to disagree with that.
yeah,
I'll double
District of
check.
New York. 911 says none of the tariffs have taken
Maybe it was just the Queen.
effect. These companies and business are price gouging right now, but wait till the tariffs. Now, see, that's the thing. I agree with you on that. They shouldn't have jacked up the prices yet.
Maybe as king, because I thought him and Diane came to the actual.
Michael J says Ibtard's
It says it's his second visit.
Ibtard's uniform to truth should not speak. Got to go, guys. Too much anti-USA BS today. Oh, sorry, Michael. Brevis. No, you're not blocked, Brevis.
Actually, Brevis, you are. You're reading from what's
Oh.
it called? So, all right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up. We appreciate you guys coming in here. Of course, you've been blocked for quite some time. Probably know why you are. But thank you guys for coming in today. If you guys are rewatching, we had some of the footage at the beginning, but not all of it. I'll make a short of where she was crying on her hands and knees, and we'll get that footage out. I'll do that right after that.
Yeah, thank you so much, Michael J. Appreciate you so
Chosen
much.
one.
Chosen one. Thank you so much for your support. We have our moderators here. We have Ted and Scott. Thank you so much. And of course, we have Sarah Tyson and Victoria. Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you, Mike, our Philippine journey. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. Also, Bad Boy was with us today. Victor C, Patriot for Life. Luke, thank you so much. Sweet, Carol, Slick Rick, of course. Aaron Doggy Fool, Pablo Chicano, Lou, Rob Morrison, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jervis. Of course, District of New York 911. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you again,
Kenya
Michael.
Home.
Sarah,
thank you very much.
Ted, I
Say
believe
your goodbye,
Scott
guys. Yes,
was
Lost in the
there.
Philippines. Yes. Thanks, guys. Victor C, thanks for live streaming. Victoria says, later, Heidi, George, and everyone, have a great day. Have a great day, everybody.
See you guys later.
Bye. Till next
Bye.
time. If I don't fall down the stairs.
I got plans for you.